Hi, this is George Corey of the
Hey guys, welcome.
In this time of social distancing and sheltering in place, many people have been forced to neglect their feet. We at the Soul Authority are making it possible for you to still take care of your feet while remaining in your home. As we will send
Welcome to the
doctors
show.
your
Make
house
sure
for
you
all of your
subscribe if you're
pediatric
not
needs.
subscribed.
The best part of all is that Medicare pays for this visit. So, if you're a Medicare recipient, give the Soul Authority a call today at 954-597-7060. That's 954-597-7060. Don't let social distancing stop you from taking care of your feet. Call the Soul Authority today.
Feeling old, tired, run down, struggling with your sex life or weight control? Dr. Matez can fix it. Call the Boca Raton Center for
That's right, he can.
At 561-953-5490 or visit their website at brc4am.com.
This is Steve Kane for Attorney Barry Siegel. Barry did a great job for me and my family when we needed a revocable living trust. Listen to one of our listeners, Ray, talk about his experience with Barry Siegel.
Welcome, welcome.
Barry Siegel. And one of the most important things about sponsors is integrity. And you have to know that you're dealing with an honest person. I had to go up to Myrtle Beach with my sister because her husband died, and I was helping her out. She had a trust and everything. She had not revised this trust since 1997. And Barry says every 3 years at least you got to. I called Barry's office because I had a question.
brc4am.com.
This is Steve Kane for
my sister. Now, most people
I just turned on the radio to hear how it sounded on the air. See, this is on the radio.
talk about his experience with Barry Siegel.
I want to praise.
Hey, Nick.
And talk about a lot of things, this and that. But I wanted to say, character, integrity, these are the most important things with sponsors, and all of your sponsors, because I've dealt with a lot of them. They all have that you can trust them, and you're getting a fair shake.
Do what Ray did. Call
Here we go.
Barry Siegel right now. Toll free.
Thanks, Jack.
1-855-FLA-3782. That's 1-855 toll free FLA-3782. Tell them Steve sent you.
You are listening to South Radio Show, the Steve Kane Show.
Yes, got a haircut 2 days ago. I know, it's a good haircut, isn't it? Yes, yes. Don't you wish you could get a haircut? Can you get one where you're at? All right. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. It is Wednesday, the 13th day of May, 2020. Welcome, welcome. So much happening. We're going to talk about Obama's Watergate this morning. Oh, man. Oh, he seems such like a nice guy. Well, we're finding out all kinds of things. Now we know why Barack Obama is in a complete panic right now. So we're going to talk about that coming up. And oh man, so much happening. I got a text message from my daughter about 15, 20 minutes ago. And it's a little unusual. It's not unusual for my daughter to be up at this hour. She's 21 years old. You know how that goes. But it is unusual for her to text me this early in the morning, right before I go on the air. I do see her sometimes when I'm leaving. I say goodbye. She sent me a text. She was a little concerned because something had happened. She had checked her bank account, and there was $1,200 deposited last night into her bank account. She's like, what's this about? She doesn't follow the news too much, So I told her. She's like, oh my goodness. She's all excited. She got her Trump money, baby. That's right. She got her Trump stimulus, coronavirus, COVID-19 money direct deposited into her bank. I said, what are you going to do with it? She says, I don't know, but she's very excited. And, Nancy Pelosi is talking about another stimulus where households could receive as much as $6,000. And I know this is a very controversial thing among people. They can keep the Trump money coming. Nancy Pelosi can send all that money to everyone. But no matter how much money they send me, and I know you guys too, we're still going to vote for Trump, right? And what Nancy hasn't considered with this second round of stimulus for individuals is that who's got to sign that into law and send those checks out? Donald John Trump, the president of the United States. So she's not going to get, when did the Speaker of the House get credit for anything? The president will get credit. The checks that will come will have his signature on them again. So keep the money coming. I'm not going to complain. I am not going to complain that this Trump money is coming. No more than my daughter. My daughter was so excited this morning. I'll see how long the money lasts because I know she's got a lot of things going on. But who knows? Who knows? You know, I saw a story this morning that the hairdresser out in Texas that said she opened up to feed her family, they're attacking her because she had received $18,000 recently, I guess, was it from the government, the small business loan? She'd received $18,000. She received $18,000. What does she mean she's got to open up to? If you own a business like that, $18,000 seems like a fortune, doesn't it? And it can be. But if you own a business like she owns, $18,000, that may not even be break-even cost for a month, right? She's got to pay rent. She's got to buy supplies. She's got to payroll. You know, there's other things. You know, $18,000 sounds like so much money. I'm not saying it's not. Hey, I'd like to have $18,000. But the problem is, she's a business owner. $18,000, boom, gone. That's it. So I don't know, giving her a hard time. Well, we've got a lot happening, and Barack Obama is in a complete and utter panic. You know what I compare his panic to, Obama, right now? It's the same level of panic that John Kerry had when John Kerry was running around the world hysterical that President Trump was ending the Iran deal. I would say it's that kind of panic. And stories are coming out about Obama that I've never heard before, about what a dirty politician he was. And now that he's out of power, he has no control. And he has no control. He can't spend. He can't order anybody to do anything. It's the way it is. And things are coming out about him, and he's not happy because his image is being tarnished by, well, his behavior being exposed. So there's a couple articles today I want to go through early on this morning. We'll talk about those. Got some things on Candace Owens I want to talk about as well. And I think we'll keep it somewhat open phones at 1-888-GO-CANE-1. Open phones so long as it is relevant, you know, to what's going on in the world. I don't want any more catnip calls, okay? But we'll keep somewhat open phones throughout the day. 1-888-GO-CANE-1. That's Kane with a K, K-A-N-E, and the number 1-888-465-2631. It's 3 weeks today. We moved into the new studio, and we're starting to really get used to it here. I bought a filing cabinet yesterday for Steve and for myself that I just brought here so that we don't have to lug all our garbage back and forth every day, our junk, you know, like my headphones and phone chargers and things like that. So we got a filing cabinet here. So we're pretty much moved in at this point. And there's a lot of great things about this new studio. If you go to my Instagram, I took a beautiful photograph yesterday morning before I went on the air that I put on my Instagram. Brian Craig Show on Instagram. Brian Craig Show on Instagram. I'm always posting stuff on Instagram, and you'll get a picture of the studio, which is, I think, a beautiful picture. But one thing about this, it's on my iPhone 11 Pro, which takes incredible. You cannot take a bad photograph with an iPhone 11 Pro, I'm here to tell you. But one thing about this new studio is we have more phone lines than we've had in so many years. And I've noticed we've gotten a lot of new callers, people we haven't heard from in a long time, people we don't hear from as often. And I think a lot of that has to do, it's easier to get in now because we had so few phone lines before. That at the old studio, we only had 3 lines. And now we got a whole bunch of lines. So we only had 3 lines. And that means lines were busy. Sometimes because you would, we'd have somebody on the hold, we'd have somebody on the air, we'd have a sponsor on hold to do a call-in. It really left us like 1 line. So now we have a lot of lines, and I think that's why we're hearing from so many new people and people we haven't heard from in a long time because it's easier to get through now with all the lines. So that's a great thing. And the number is still the same, 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. So that's nice. And I was talking to Steve yesterday after the show, and I was telling him, I said, I think the show's much better here at the new studio because it's like we're at the radio station now and it's more comfortable, a little more professional. We had a nice studio, don't get me wrong, but we were cramped in there and and now it's just a little, Ed from Tavolino's is coming in. Ed Pizzuali is coming in on Friday. It'll be his first time here, so get his opinion. Oh, man, yeah. So anyway, so Obama really, just a nasty guy. You know, when this Flynn story started developing over the last week, my first thought was Obama might have been brief, but he was kind of checked out and on vacation. He was heading up to the residence so he could watch ESPN because he seemed to be really into ESPN, especially during basketball season. I saw him during the NBA draft on ESPN. He knew every player at every college. He knew their whole injuries and their coaches and everything. I mean, I think he even knew some of their high school records. It was amazing to me how knowledgeable he was about these college players at the NBA draft, which really showed you where his attention was going. So I kind of thought he was checked out a lot of times, but it looks like we could not have been more wrong, or at least I couldn't have been more wrong. Maybe you guys didn't think that. Maybe you thought he was always behind every little detail. I didn't. I just thought he kind of had his feet up on the desk, leaned back, chilling out all the time. But that certainly is not the case. He's the architect of all of this, and that's why he's in a panic, because the truth is coming out. And one thing I've noticed about celebrities, right? Celebrities. There are some exceptions to this rule, but for the most part, when it comes to celebrities that I've met a lot of celebrities in my life, a lot. Celebrities that are pleasant publicly, likable publicly, are the nastiest bastards you've ever met. And the ones that are rough publicly are the sweethearts. That's what I've learned. Now, there are a couple of exceptions to this. Without getting into, I don't even know if this person's truly considered a celebrity, but the most negative experience I ever had with a celebrity, this is a very low-level celebrity. Low-level. Loretta Swit. I had a run-in with Loretta Swit that has scarred me until this day. but remember from MASH, not the movie, the television show, Nasty Witch. I mean, she was so nasty to me, pointing her finger at me, yelling at me. She doesn't remember it, but I remember. Oh my gosh, it was very painful. Big fan of MASH. I thought she was playing her role of Margaret. Margaret Houlihan was nice compared to the real way, but there are exceptions. And Obama, he's hot lips. That's right, hot lips Houlihan. But Obama's kind of that way, right? He seems likable. He's very nice, clean cut, and all that stuff. But that's not the case. He appears to be a very nasty man who's involved in a lot of scummy activity to destroy political opponents. And there's some articles that have come out in the last 24 hours that he is not happy about. And what has him unhappy about it is they're true. And he knows they're true. It's one thing people say things that aren't true all the time. When people say things that aren't true, typically someone like Obama wouldn't be upset about it. But it's when it's true that gets them really upset. Oh, man. Yeah. I shouldn't even mention Loretta Swit. I'm not going to tell you guys the story right now, but just remembering how Loretta Swit got nasty with, Steve was there. He said I handled her perfectly when she got in my face and started yelling at me. But it's true, she was yelling. That's right, Loretta Swit was yelling at me. She was yelling at me and lecturing me at the same time. It was just a brutal experience. I did not watch MASH. I used to watch MASH all the time. All the time. I was a huge fan of MASH. The movie too, but the TV show. I was a huge fan of MASH. And I didn't watch MASH for like 20 years, 15, 20 years. And even now, I can't watch MASH. Even the movie, even though she's not in the movie Loretta Swit, it's still scarred. But anyway, enough of Loretta Swit. Oh my gosh. Has her name even been said publicly in the last 12, 15 years? I don't know. All right, listen, let's take our break and we'll get back into all of this stuff. My name's Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show. The Steve Kane Show. On the radio since 1977, our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. All right, let's take a break. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere.
Any lab tests now of Boca offer more than just lab work. They also have B12 injections available. B12 injections promote weight loss, increase energy, reduce stress, promote healthy
Steve
skin,
Kane Show.
improve sleep, increase
Hey.
metabolism, fight heart disease, improve memory, and improve mood.
Oh, yeah.
B12
She was
injections
yelling at
and
me,
lab tests now
pointing her
at
finger
Boca
at me.
Raton, like their lab tests, are priced low. 5 injections for just $69. Other places in town charge $349 for 3 injections, so that is a huge savings. Any lab test now of Boca Raton is located at 23016 Sandalfoot Plaza on the east side of 441.
Good morning, guys.
7 doors down from Western Beef. If you have any questions, call 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. Any lab tests now of Boca Raton. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
Denture wearers, are messy adhesives ruining the taste of your food? Is it painful
Um,
for you to eat? Does the
I get my coffee
constant
black.
affect your speech? Are you always worried that
black.
your dentures will fall out
And it's,
while you're talking or
a
laughing?
venti.
You have
Venti?
sore spots?
That's what they call a large.
You're not alone. These
Uh,
are common
hot blonde
problems that can be
Americano.
solved simply with dental implants. This is Steve Kane, and I want to introduce you to Brighton Dental Care, where the Kane family goes for all our dental needs. Brighton Dental Care doesn't want cold.
I'm not into that
to stop
cold
you
iced
from
coffee
being
stuff.
able to eat
I
the foods you
like
love
the hot
and
coffee.
live in comfort. That's why, for Steve Kane listeners, they're offering implants. Get this, for just $3,500.
And that one didn't cost me
includes
anything. I used my points today.
plus a
Got like
lower
180
now, if you go to a
Starbucks
dentist in
points.
Boca or in Aventura, they're going to charge you $6,000 for the exact same implants and denture. That's right, $6,000. But at Brighton Dental Care, just $3,500, and that includes the 2 implants plus your lower denture. Laugh and live with confidence. Call Brighton Dental Care at 954-922-4633, 954-922-4633, and online at brightondentalcare.com. Be sure to ask about special discounts for our military veterans.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeart.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. By the way, this morning, I was early this morning. I got out of the house early. So if you go to my YouTube channel, you can see this, Brian Craig on YouTube. Like you can see the radio show live right now. We live stream the radio show each and every day, Brian Craig on YouTube. But this morning, I had some. We're very close to the beach. Maybe like 5 minutes from the ocean. So this morning, I went down to the beach and live streamed on YouTube from the ocean with the beautiful ocean waves at about 5:15 in the morning. So if you go to my YouTube channel, you can check it out, and then you can see. And I drove here. I did a live stream from the beach, and then I drove here so you can see how close we are to the ocean waves, even though the beach is closed. But go check it out. It's pretty beautiful, and it's nice to be so close to the ocean. Brian Craig on the YouTube. All right, let's go to Richie, the bus driver. Hey, Richie, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Brian. Real quick for people out there that are trying to figure out what this Flynn thing is. When the president first went into office, his national security advisor was Flynn. Flynn happened to have been a man who knew what he was doing. Obama couldn't have that because he found out that Obama was spying on the campaign, and then he would have found out that he was continuing to spy on him after he got elected.
Yeah.
And they made up this Russia crap. This was their makeup job.
I put creamer in my coffee when I'm home, but
Never
well, I'll tell you this. I talked about this when it happened in the early months of the Trump presidency. The first summer of Trump's presidency, they moved down to the West Wing for they said to change out the air conditioning unit in the West Wing, and he went to his golf resort in Jersey, and I think they were cleaning the place for listening devices left behind by Obama and his administration. I think that was it was a sweeping operation because they were being monitored in the West Wing. I mean, and if you notice in the first year of Trump's presidency, he spent a lot of time at his resorts, and I think that's because they were afraid that they were being monitored at the White House, and they knew Mar-a-Lago and Jersey were safe.
kind of a scumbag, and I'm calling him scumbag because anybody can defend this ex-president that we had. He's a disaster. He's a criminal, and I don't think he'll go to jail. but his legacy should go into the.
Well, one of the articles I'm going to go through today, Richie, Obama, in the final days of his presidency, because there's a lot of hangovers when a new president comes in. He ordered, and by the way, anything the president tells you is an order. He doesn't have to say, this is a direct order. Anything he says is an order. He ordered staffers that were hanging over not to brief the president or his staff on the Trump Tower Flynn operation.
Yeah, he just wanted to totally undermine the new president because he was humiliated. You remember his statement, I'm the president of the United States, that's one thing Trump will never be.
Yeah. But you know what, though? There's two different kinds of presidents, right? There's the ones that are two-termers, and then there's the losers. And when you're a two-term president, you are ending on a high. You're a big deal. The people like H.W. Bush or Jimmy Carter, they get one term. It's a humiliation. The country rejects them because it's a failure. You failed the country, so they reject you. When you have two terms, you should be on top of the world, no matter who, like Bill Clinton and all of it. If you've got two terms, you should be on top of the world. Why do you think, though? Why do you think Obama was working so hard, though, against Trump after he won? I mean, this didn't stop. I mean, Obama continued his operation after Trump won.
Because he wanted Hillary to continue his legacy. And all the little things in the closet that we're going to find out now, all the crap that he pulled, all the shady stuff is going to come out into the view of the public. And guess what? This guy that's in the basement running for president of the United States,
Biden,
calls up because he was interviewed by Stephanopoulos yesterday. He started stumbling. Oh, yeah, I knew they were investigating. After that was the second answer. The first one, he knew nothing.
Well, see, a lot of people don't realize this, okay? I think most Democrats don't realize that Obama and Hillary have been connected Obama's entire life. Hillary Clinton is not from Arkansas. She's from Chicago. Hillary's parents, regardless of whatever story she tells in her stump speeches, Hillary's parents were in the same liberal cell as Frank Marshall Davis, Bill Ayer's parents, and it's the Hillary people and the Obama people all come from that same Frank Marshall Davis, Saul Alinsky, Bill Ayer's cell of radicals out of Chicago.
I'll call him a communist, okay? We had a guy that was president that knocked the United States on a regular basis and said this was about the world, not the United States. We're a corrupt country.
I would say it's worse than, I would say it's more than, I think they're not, well, I'm not saying he's not a communist, but Obama and in the left, but what Hillary and Obama and all these people, they're revolutionaries is what they are.
It's in the toilet now. I don't think it's even existing.
Well, because they have no offices to sell. The Clinton Foundation was just a money laundering operation for the Clintons to launder the bribes they were taking from things she could do as Secretary of State or when she was in the Senate. That's all that was. Now they have no power, so no one's giving them money.
Yesterday, I watched that. I'm going to say something now. I am really. I feel like such a stenade. Okay, that's stupid.
Steve Kane Show.
For anyone that doesn't know it, because I thought Fauci.
Steve Kane Show. Hey.
Fauci is a total piece for the Democratic Party, and he's a disgrace. And Romney is even a bigger disgrace because here he is undercutting the president again, this dirtbag. And by the way, Patty Murray, this thing yesterday was just a trash Trump. It was really disgusting.
No, I'll tell you, my first thought was what you're thinking. Okay, and then I watched just a little bit of it. The Rand Paul part was great, but I watched a little bit of it. And then what I realized yesterday, because I'm thinking, why is there a hearing in the Senate? We control the Senate. Why are they bringing Fauci, who's wrecked the American economy and all this stuff out there? What happened yesterday is Fauci was exposed to people that don't follow these issues like we do all the time. Fauci was exposed not as a medical professional, but as a partisan hack. And when you saw him up there, you saw the difference between the Republicans and the Democrats are praising and fawning all over him. The Republicans are, you're not the end all be all. So he he lost a lot of credibility as a medical expert yesterday, Fauci, I think, and he's just a political hack. That's why the Republicans did that. I bet you Trump was behind that whole thing.
Murray is a dirtbag. Did you hear her? She starts off by saying, we need to hear from you because the president, not an honest word comes out of his mouth, and he's a liar, and he's this, and he's that. And this was before she asked one question. I felt like
Yeah.
head off. I mean,
Yeah.
what kind of information we can get out of this? Did you tell us?
Nothing. 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 And yeah, and Fauci, Fauci is he's the big villain here, All the models were wrong. Now Fauci for the rest of his life will be saying that the models were not wrong. The models were based on if we did nothing, and of course everyone did what I said. So that's why the models appear to have been wrong, but they were wrong about everything. And the loss of wealth worldwide, not just in this country, because of Fauci, he's going to be a big villain who is not going to go down in history very well from this.
No, well, the Koreans, when they had this crisis, they had the masks and the testing and all that because they went through the SARS. When Obama had the SARS, he emptied out the cabinet, okay, and never put anything back in them, okay? That's the bottom.
Yeah. All right, Richie, take care. Thanks for the call. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Good morning, Brian. This is Hank from Hollywood. How are you?
All right, Hank, what's up?
I wanted to say something different, but before I say something different, I just want to comment on Richie. Richie was, you guys were like, why would Obama do this?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a couple things. One, I think he's jealous of Trump. I think Trump is a real, genuine, real-made man, He made everything himself. He didn't need people in the shadows pushing him or helping him like they did Obama. Second of all, I think Obama's still mad that Trump made him put that birth certificate out there.
Yeah.
So, but what I really wanted to say was because they're talking about the bailing out California and all these other liberal states with trillions of dollars. And I thought it was a Roman philosopher that said it. And I went on to Google, and it was actually Ben Franklin that I just wanted to say if I can.
Okay.
That will herald the end of the republic.
Yeah.
Trying to ruin something.
Well, that's why a lot of people think, that it was racist and sexist. The reason why, for a long time, you had to be a property owner to vote in this country is because of that. Because the founders knew that if the have-nots could vote to redistribute the wealth of the haves to them, they would do it. And you see it time and time again, like with Obamacare and other things, and that's true. But I think the country's different now. One thing that you've seen when it comes to this shutdown. I mean, look at in California. I'm going to play audio from this later, but there were customers in front of that waffle shop in California blocking police, trying to shut the guy down. Even in liberal California, people are rising up against being told they can't work. And Americans are a hardworking people. There are not as many Americans that want to sit around, loaf, and watch YouTube videos all day. You know what I mean? I think that when I see people standing up in California like they're doing, I think that's amazing.
But there's a lot of people out there that would rather sit at home, do nothing. And there's politicians that will say, yeah, they should sit at home because the politicians are giving them, say, are going to take $2,000 a month, and the politician themselves is pocketing another $1,000 a month. Do the same.
Well, yeah. Well, Nancy Pelosi. This is Nancy Pelosi with her latest stimulus. She thinks what you're talking about will happen. That people, if that stimulus gets through, which it may not. I don't know. If it does, Trump would get credit for it. And if it doesn't go through, he'll get credit for not giving away free money. So that speakers of the House and Congress get credit for nothing ever. People hate Congress. Hate Congress. So I don't know why she thinks it's going to help Democrats giving another round of stimulus checks, especially with Trump's signature on them. My daughter was so excited when she called me this morning and she got her $1,200 from Trump. She was so excited. All right, take care, Hank. All right. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to turn down the money. If they send it out, I'm going to take it. Aren't you guys going to take it? But you know what? Nancy Pelosi could send me $2,000 a month for the rest of my life. I'm still voting for Trump come November, okay? I'm still voting for Trump. Oh, look, we'll take our break for the bottom of the hour. Holy smokes, it's 31 minutes after the hour. My name's Brian Craig. You are listening to The Steve Kane Show. That's right, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. That's right. We'll take our break. When we get back, there's so much more to talk about. Don't go anywhere, all right? Stay tuned.
Ace Hardware Deerfield and Beach Ace Hardware wants you and your family to be protected during the coronavirus pandemic and has an incredible offer for listeners of The Steve Kane Show.
We get products continually coming in during the week. We get disinfectants, bleach, gloves, cleaning supplies. Everybody's looking for face masks. So the best thing that we came up with was
I'll sit down for a few minutes. Haven't sat down in like 3 days.
So we've got a supply of bandanas.
I can sit down. I'm sitting down now. I just usually stand.
Free bandanas, just for mentioning the Steve Kane Show. The bandanas are the covering and the cities are going to require as we start to go back to work and get out that everybody's required to have.
Welcome, make sure you guys subscribe.
So you can use a bandana to cover your mouth and your nose and protect you and protect all those around you. The other thing
I know, I'm going to get to all that stuff.
Get that honeydew list on this.
Well, last time I checked, it expected, presumed. It wasn't
Wow, what a great deal.
totally
These bandanas
a
are
done deal yet.
reusable because you can wash them. So stop into Ace Hardware in Deerfield, just south of Hillsborough Boulevard on the west side of US 1, and Beach Ace Hardware located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, Lauderdale by the Sea, and get your free bandana from Ace Hardware.
This is Steve Kane for attorney Barry Siegel. Barry did a great job for me and my family when we needed a revocable living trust. Listen to one of our listeners, Ray, talk about his experience with Barry Siegel.
I want to praise Barry Siegel, and one of the most important things about sponsors.
But I'll get to all that stuff from here till 9.
You know that you're dealing with an honest person. I had to go up to Myrtle Beach with my sister because her husband died, and I was helping her out. She had a trust and everything. She had not revised this trust since 1997. And you know, Barry says every 3 years at least you got to. I called Barry's office because I had a question. I let the secretary know. Look, I'm calling from South Carolina. I know the laws are different, and I'm just asking for information for my sister. Now, you know, most people just blow you off, right? You know, almost immediately, within a few minutes, Barry himself called me. I asked my questions and so on, and he answered. He was very patient. I was quite a while with him, and talked about a lot of things, you know, and this and that. But I wanted to say, you know, character, integrity, these are the most important things with sponsors, and all of your sponsors, because I've dealt with a lot of them, they all have that.
The one you're talking about is the
Do what Ray did. Call attorney Barry Siegel right
Katie
now.
Hill seat, right?
1-855
That hasn't flipped since '88.
3782. That's 1-855 toll free FLA 3782. Tell them Steve sent you.
No, we are in Florida. We're in Florida.
Listen to the Steve Kane.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Let's go back to the phones. Mike in Louisiana, good morning. Hey, Mike.
Yo, you know, you're right about one-term presidents being unsuccessful, being considered unsuccessful, but I think we can take it one step further. The further out we get from Obama's time in office, I think he's going to be, as a two-term president, he is going to be considered as an unsuccessful president. Because name me something that's been successful. Obamacare failed, you know, his foreign policy failed, you know, I mean, I could go...
Yeah, I mean, Trump, if this were the end of Trump's second term, he like George W. Bush, like him or hate him, George W. Bush got us through 9/11 and saved the country while we were under attack. And President Trump, look at this, he got us through the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic. And when all the projections said over 2 million dead, look at where we're at. We're in very good shape compared to where the projections sent us, and Trump will get credit for all of that.
And in terms of these presidents, look over the last several decades, you know. I really do believe that had President Kennedy not been assassinated, you know, he was already being lionized, but he would have been a more successful president had he not been.
I don't know. He was kind of expected to maybe lose. It was a tough fight for him in that re-election. But I'll tell you this: if you look back at Obama, who's in this total panic mode right now, you know, people may say, well, his presidency was a failure. You know, President Obama, no matter what comes out about President Obama, and this really shows you how out of touch with reality Obama is. No matter what comes out with Obama, right, this Obamagate and all this stuff, he is the first black president of the United States and the first black leader of a major country. No matter what comes out, Obama will always be remembered in history as an important historical figure up there with Martin Luther King and Gandhi because of that. And even though that is, and that's a fact, I mean, there's no getting around, no matter what happens, no matter what details come out, even if it came out he was born in Kenya, which I'm not saying he was, but if he was, he'd still have that. And he's so out of touch with reality, he's getting involved in all this scandal, and he's making it worse because he can't keep his mouth shut. He's worried about his legacy. Obama's legacy as the first black president of the United States will always be there. He will always be remembered as a great person and a great president. That's a fact. And but I guess he doesn't see it like I do.
Yeah, he doesn't see it like you do. And look,
Steve Kane Show.
We talk about what his crony judge is doing, the lieutenant.
Yeah.
By allowing these idiots to come, these guys to come in from outside of the case.
I don't like sitting.
To file amicus briefs to keep this.
Well, judges don't like to be overturned and have their, you know, and be made a judges. A lot of these judges, they think they're kingmakers. You know, they're lords of the manor, and they don't like these kind of things happening. That's why he's fighting it.
When Barr decided to drop the case, that made him angry.
Oh yeah. Well, first off, they've wasted a lot of the court's time and efforts, money. It's like years of work out the window and just wasted. See, if the judge were a fair judge as opposed to an activist, a Democrat activist judge, he would be angry at the Obama administration for pursuing this, for doing this to General Flynn, for wasting his time, putting him in this position. His anger is misplaced, the judge, because he's an activist judge, a Democrat activist judge. By his actions, I don't know anything about the guy other than how he's acting right now, and I can see it.
Right, and he's acting the same way. I mean, it can be considered as a panic move.
Mm-hmm.
Doing, you know, he's acting exactly like the guy who appointed him.
Yeah, that's right. All right, Mike in Louisiana, thanks for the call. All right, take care. All right, let's take another call. Good morning. Mike doesn't like to say goodbye. He always does that when I go. I hear a click. He never says goodbye. Liberal Al, you're on the radio.
Yeah, before I discuss the activist, what you call an activist judge, I'd like to talk about the wonderful benefits of crystal harmony. I was off of it for about 6 months, and I'm going back on it. It basically allows you to walk greater distances without being fatigued. I walked 7 miles yesterday, and I purchased it at Simply Natural.
Well, that's great. That's great. Richard Pearl's Simply Natural. Yeah, great. What is it you picked up at Simply Natural?
Crystal Harmony.
Okay, Crystal Harmony. I'll ask Richard Pearl about it, yeah.
Yeah, it's oxygenated water, and it basically many benefits from it. If you have cuts or scratches or anything like that, it's great for the healing process for your body.
Yeah. I wonder if he has a supplement over there that would help treat liberalism.
Well, you know, there must be some supplements to treat conservatism. But,
oh, yeah.
You know, I wanted to really talk about Timothy Seymour leaving the National Security Council, but the judge you're talking about okay, is not a liberal activist judge. The FBI has recordings of Clinton negotiating a nuclear power deal with the Saudi Arabians. That's not a talking point.
All right, whatever. Barr's not pursuing the case, man. Barr's not pursuing the case. I don't know anything about that, but Barr's not pursuing the case. He's the attorney general. He's the prosecutor, the top cop, and they're not pursuing the case. Case closed. Mm-hmm. That's right.
Professionals are asking for him.
How many? 5,000. I thought it was 2,000. It's 5,000 now.
Yeah.
How many people did they have working for them on the government retirement plan? 5,000.
Retirees.
I think we got too many retirees from the Justice Department. 5,000 signed a letter? I thought it was 2, but you say 5. 2,000, 5,000, it's still too many.
2,500 now that have signed the letter, but they say there's more than 5,000 totally that have voiced their opinion of this matter.
Yeah, well, so what?
All those people that spent their lives in the Department of Justice, they're not all political hacks.
You know who spent their life in the Department of Justice? You know who? J. Edgar Hoover. Just because someone spent their life at the Department of Justice doesn't mean they're an honorable person.
You gonna bring up a cross-dresser, or you got a problem with?
Well, I'm not making. As a liberal, should you really be making gender identification jokes? Isn't that off limits now?
No, it's a joke. But,
yeah, you can't make jokes anymore. Liberals don't like jokes like that.
Well, Jimmy Fallon's a liberal, and he's got a good sense of humor.
Nah, I don't know.
There's a lot of liberals. Robin Williams, God rest his soul, tremendous liberal.
Yeah, but he passed away before this new gender stuff happened. When Robin Williams was alive doing comedy, we were not in the current phase. That was pre Caitlyn Jenner.
Oh boy, that's a sore subject with me because I grew up looking at the Wheaties parks and he was one of my heroes.
Yeah, we had Bruce Jenner on the show once, right after during the O.J. Simpson civil trial. We had Bruce Jenner on, and this is before the Kardashians were famous. The father was famous, Robert, but not Kim and all that stuff. And we had Bruce Jenner on the show about something else. He was in town promoting something, and he says to me and Steve, he says, I'm married to Robert Kardashian's ex-wife. And we said, really? No, we didn't know that. Nobody knew because they weren't famous yet. And we had Bruce Jenner on talking about OJ and Nicole Brown Simpson. He was friends with them all. That was great stuff. It was during the O.J. Simpson civil trial. It was exciting stuff. Yeah, I know. I grew up. I was so excited to meet Bruce Jenner. I grew up. Bruce Jenner, when I was a kid, was what a man was supposed to be. Was Bruce Jenner. He was even on Chips. And now look at it.
And play baseball. As far as cross country, that's a grueling sport.
So what's going to happen what's going to happen to you Democrats when President Trump is reelected in a landslide?
It's going to be the other way around.
Oh, come on.
Texas. He's going to lose Texas.
Oh, yeah, sure.
What chance is he got to get reelected if he loses Texas?
Mm-hmm. How's he going to lose Texas? I mean, this is a stupid conversation. I can't even have that conversation. Listen, let me take our break, and then we'll get back and get back on track to where I was going as opposed to the ramblings of Liberal Al. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back.
Did you know that 2 out of 5 Americans suffer from some kind of allergy? So it's likely that fatigue, runny nose, headaches, intestinal problems, and a general lousy feeling can be connected to an allergy. Any lab tests now of Boca Raton offer allergy tests that can detect over 125 airborne, food, and environmental allergens. Allergy testing is quick, easy, and painless. Results can be shared with your physician or an allergist. No doctor's order or prescription is necessary. No appointment either. Just walk right in. Any lab test now of Boca Raton is located at 23016 Sandalfoot Plaza on the east side of 441, just a few doors down from Western Beef. If you have any questions, call 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. Any lab tests now of Boca Raton. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on The Steve Kane Show.
If you suffer with diabetes, there's a 25% chance that you'll develop a foot ulcer that can lead to severe health consequences, including amputation. At the Sole Authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own therapeutic shoes and custom inserts. Medicare recipients are entitled to 1 pair of quality diabetic shoes and 3 custom inserts. Call the Sole Authority today, 954-597-7060.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beaten. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price
Make sure you guys
of
subscribe.
Only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great low price right over the phone at 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
Listen to The Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
All right, guys, welcome back. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, on the radio since 1977. So Obama is just in a total meltdown right now. I mean, this Obamagate has him going nuts. And the more he talks about it, the worse it gets for him. This is in the New York Post. I love the New York Post is back. You know, for a long time, the New York Post was kind of out, and it's back with a vengeance, man. This is the headline editorial. It looks like President Obama ordered up phony Russiagate scandal. Uh-oh. Russiagate is now a complete dead letter, but Obamagate is taking its place. This is New York Post editorial. Just how far did the then president go to cripple his successor? It's now clear the Obama-Comey FBI and Justice Department never had anything more substantial than a laughable fiction of the Steele dossier to justify the counterintelligence investigation of the Trump campaign. Yet incessant leaks from that supposedly confidential probe wound up consuming the Trump administration's first months in office, followed by the Bob Mueller-led special counsel investigation that proved nearly the total witch hunt that President Trump dubbed it. That proved to be a total witch hunt, that is. Information released as the Justice Department dropped its charges against General Mike Flynn shows that President Barack Obama, in his final days in office, played a key role in fanning the flames of the phony scandal. Obama was fully briefed on the Crossfire Hurricane investigation. He knew the FBI had come up with nothing despite months of work that started in July 2016. Remember when Trump came out during the campaign and said, at Trump Tower, and said, Obama's spying on me, and the media laughed at him? Well, it was true. On January 5th, 2017, listen to this. On January 5th, 2017, Obama told top officials who would be staying on in the new administration and to keep the crucial facts from Team Trump. It happened at an Oval Office meeting with Vice President Joe Biden, Intel Chiefs John Brennan and Jim Clapper, and National Security Advisor Susan Rice, as well as FBI Director Comey and Deputy Attorney General Sally Yates. From a national security perspective, Rice's memo afterward put it, President Obama says he wants to be sure that as we engage with the incoming team, We are mindful to ascertain if there is any reason that we cannot share information fully as it relates to Russia. So here what we have going on here is we have Obama running a spy operation after his term is complete and the next commander-in-chief is in office. This isn't just a shadow government. He had ordered an illegal operation, Obama. It's not up to him to give orders for the next administration. His terms are over. And we had Susan Rice and others who were carrying out an operation into the next president's term that was ordered by Obama. Then President Obama also directed that as many people as possible across his administration be briefed on the allegations against Team Trump. And as Rice and others took unprecedented steps to unmask U.S. citizens like General Flynn, whose conversations have been caught on federal wiretaps of foreigners. The Obama administration went on a full-scale leak offensive, handing the Washington Post, New York Times, and other nonstop anonymous allegations to other outlets. And it goes on. It goes on. But now we know. You see, all these documents are coming out now. Now we know that Obama ordered an illegal spy operation on the next president. That people like Susan Rice and others who were carrying over into the next administration during a transition when Donald Trump was the commander-in-chief were still running an Obama-ordered operation on them. You know, from the beginning, I was calling this a coup. I know a lot of people call it a coup now, and they're right. I think the president even calls it a coup. President Trump, does he not refer to this from time to time as a coup? This is exactly. And you know, they still don't recognize him as the president. That's why so many Democrats, including Nancy Pelosi, call him the current occupant of the White House, right? Whoopi Goldberg's big on that one, the current occupant of the White House. This is bigger than, you know, Watergate was really, the president's role in Watergate was minor, right? He wasn't part, you know, Nixon wasn't part of the break-in. He was involved in a cover-up of the operation, looking to move cash around to pay off the burglars so the story would go away. I'm not saying he didn't do anything wrong, but it was jaywalking compared to this. This is a spy operation against the sitting president of the United States after a failed attempt to influence the presidential election failed. And make no mistake about it, this entire operation on Trump Tower was what? Fact-finding mission. They were digging for information to use against Trump. They had many stories out there that got no legs, no matter what they brought out against Trump. The rallies were bigger, there were more rallies a day, and his poll numbers went up. No matter what he said about McCain or said to Hillary at a debate, numbers would go up. They tried everything. Remember, they were even saying that his father was at a Klan rally in New York City. Give me a break. Back in the 20s. Nothing they brought up. They had the former Miss Universe, Alicia Machado, Miss Piggy, the Miss Piggy thing. Nothing they brought up worked. They even went and found a hustler centerfold that had sex with Trump. They went to her and interviewed her. She complimented him on what a gentleman he was. You know, they tried everything. And no matter what they brought up, he went up in the polls, got more popular. Because people were tired of politicians. And they did the wiretaps on Trump Tower, where the president lived and where the campaign headquarters were located. It was Oppo research. And the big mistake they made, I mean, that was a mistake too. I mean, I don't think this type of operation has happened with past presidential candidates for the most part. And I'll tell you why. I believe, and this is just my opinion, I could be wrong about this. There might be an exception to this if anyone knows, but certainly not in the modern era. President Trump, in my opinion, going all the way back to Washington, is the first president ever elected to the presidency of the United States who was not a part of the political establishment of one of the parties. Donald Trump very well may be the first president truly elected by the people, not pushed on us by a party, okay? So they couldn't have that. So they continued the operation after he won, and even after he was sworn in. That was their super big mistake. If they would have just kept it to the, and then when Comey went to him with the fake dossier and tried to blackmail Trump, oh boy. Remember, he went to, now, people forget, if you're on hold, I'll go to the phones in just a moment. Every once in a while I'll tell you this because people talk about the Russia dossier. The dossier said, it was so absurd. When I tell you, it's so ridiculous. What the Russia dossier said was this, is that President Trump went to Moscow, stayed in the same hotel room that President Obama stayed in when he visited Moscow, and that Donald Trump had hired 2 Russian prostitutes to urinate on the bed Obama slept in while he watched on and I masturbated, and that Putin had videotape of this and would use it against President Trump to influence U.S. policy. That's what the dossier, it's crazy town. I know, it's totally insane. When you say it that way, it's like, come on, who would believe that? And they went to him with this dossier, Comey, when he was president-elect, and said, we can either investigate this or it can go away, wink, wink. And Trump said, get the hell out of here, you're fired. But that's what the dossier alleged. It's absurd, isn't it? It's absurd. All right, let's go to the phones. My name's Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. Our number, 888-GO-KANE-1. You're on the radio. Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Brian, Ray of Sunrise.
Ray in Sunrise. How you doing?
Boy, great show today, as usual. You see, they knew that Flynn would reveal everything. That was the beginning. It's right to call this Obamagate right from the beginning. The whole Russian hoax, everything that followed since then with Mueller, like you said, and the impeachment, right up to the present cover-up of closing everything down. This is all aimed at getting Trump out of office or tie his hands, whatever you want to say, to destroy Trump, whatever that means, okay?
Yeah.
Now, you can go through Obama's phase, whatever. He's a failed president. You get Iran, Obamacare, NAFTA,
Steve Kane Show.
China, what he did to the military. He's a disaster, all right, so he's propped up.
Hold on.
The point
Steve
is,
Kane Show.
you could sum this up in one sentence. In 3 years, maybe 4 years, we could say, let's say almost 4 years, Trump did more, not only for blacks, but all minorities.
Yeah.
All their promises, all their money, all their wealth, all their programs, what they couldn't do for decades with empty promises, right? On top of that, what do we have? The greatest economy ever in the history of America. He really made America great again. We respected women.
Well, yeah. And the big test of the Trump economy will be what happens now as things open up. I'm reading now, Broward County on Monday very well may be open. Broward County is going to open up next week. It's just a matter of what day. It's up to DeSantis at this point. So, how fast will the economy bounce back in the next month? How fast will it bounce back?
See, that's why they're all applauding Mousy Fauci yesterday, Keep everything closed down, which is, again, part of destroying and destroying Trump and everything, see?
Yeah.
Now people are beginning to wake up to what really closing this country down meant. You know what happened here, Brian?
What happened?
Purpose behind now. The latest thing is testing. They before.
Yeah.
They had big event. They went all through everything, right? They did everything possible to stop Trump, but the virus did what they could not achieve with the Mueller, the impeachment, everything else like that. Look what they have done.
Well, they keep changing. Emerald Robinson, who used to be with One American News, and she's with Newsmax now. She's a White House correspondent. She tweeted yesterday. She said the same people that are saying, she said the same people that said we've got to shut the country down until we flatten the curve, are now saying we can't open the country until there's a vaccine, and soon they'll be saying we can't open the country until every person in America is tested. They're trying to keep this country shut down because they figure, well, see, they hate Trump, so they don't see him honestly. They think that most people hate him, but tolerate him because the economy was doing so well. So if they can, that's the one thing that will turn people vote their pocketbooks. But they don't. What's obvious here? You see this in California, and you see it in Michigan mostly. But Democrats even view this as a time to reopen the country, and they see Democrat politicians, for political reasons, keeping it closed.
Of course, Brian, look what they did. You mentioned that Chicago cell with Hillary and.
Oh yeah, Bill Ayers, Frank Marshall Day.
If you don't want to call them communists, they're definitely socialists, but they're definitely.
No doubt. All right, Ray, I got to run. One more call before the break. Thanks so much. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Hello,
Yeah, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
RJ. I'm calling from Fort Lauderdale.
RJ, what's up?
My concern is that, you know, the Republicans all had privy to this information, the hearings and all these documents at the time, and nothing, you know, no resistance. They just let it all go. I don't understand.
I'll tell you, I got a break, and I'll tell you why after the break. So listen after the break, all right? I got a break for the top. I don't think I have ever held a caller over through a break, but I will hold you over. All right? I'll hold you over. I'll hold you. That may be the first time I've ever done that. I never hold callers through breaks, but I'll hold RJ through. All right, hour number 2 begins right now. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show.
95.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
From the Siegel Law Group, my good friend Barry Siegel. Barry, how are you doing today?
Steve, good morning. I'm having a great morning. How are you?
I'm having a great morning and looking forward to our breakfast next week.
Me too, Steve. I always look forward to seeing you. Today I want to talk about a area of your overall estate plan that doesn't necessarily have to deal with your assets. It has to do with important decisions that need to be made during your lifetime, and that deals with your health care documents. That's part of a good estate plan. And there are 3 essential health care documents that are part of a great estate plan. One is your health care surrogate designation, which allows you to name those who you give the responsibility of making important medical decisions for you if you don't have the capacity to do so yourself. Those decisions could include end-of-life decisions such as pulling the plug. The
Hey guys.
document is the living will, which is the document, think of it as a memo to your healthcare decision maker as to whether you want to have your plug pulled or not. So if you don't have your mental capacity and you're either have a terminal condition, an end-stage condition, or a persistent vegetative state like that Terry Schiavo had over
I know it's a great view, isn't it? I know it's a great view.
Then it says you either want the machines keeping you alive, helping you breathe, and the feeding tube and the water tube, or you want those things removed. And then the one that most people don't know about is the HIPAA authorization, and that's so important. The HIPAA, that stands for Health Information Portability and Accountability Act. That came into law in 2003. And so now when you go to the doctor, they want you to sign off that you read their HIPAA policy.
Oh yeah, you will.
And essentially that says that they can share your medical information with other medical providers, but not with anyone else. But with your HIPAA document in your estate planning, it says the medical provider not
Make sure you guys
share your
subscribe,
medical
all right?
information with anyone except for the people you list on that document, such as your spouse or your brother, your sister, your parents, your children, or friends. Whoever you name, they can access your medical information, your records, and speak to the medical providers. Without that, they're trying not to give out that information, and that could be a disaster. So those are the 3 important healthcare documents that are part of the overall estate plan.
All right, there you have it. If you want to make an appointment with Attorney Barry Siegel, you're going to find him a delight to deal with, very knowledgeable, and he can help you solve those problems that are, for some people, very difficult to solve. Call to make that appointment, 1-855, that's toll free by the way, 1-855-FLA 3782. Barry, good talking to you. We'll speak soon, all right?
Okay, Steve.
Take care, my friend. All right.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-GO-KANE 1. That's 1-888-GO-KANE.
Well, thanks, Nick. All right, hour number 2 has begun. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. If you're just tuning in, we're talking about Obamagate and what has been revealed this week. A lot of things, sometimes people say, well, we know. RJ, hold on, I'll get right to you. I just got to recap here quickly for those just tuning in. A lot of people say, well, we knew this or we knew that. No. Big difference here is we are learning new information, but we're also getting documents that prove what people have suspected was true. And what we're learning now is that in the final days of his presidency, Barack Obama ordered an illegal spy operation to continue into the next president's administration. So he was running an illegal intelligence operation and ordering people not to brief the new president or his team. So there's other things too, but we had RJ. Now, RJ, you were asking me, the Republican congressmen knew about all this stuff, and they didn't do anything for a long time. Why is that? And I'll tell you why. John McCain. And if you remember, RJ, John McCain was the one who gave the dossier, the Russia dossier, to Comey. Remember? They gave it to McCain. So McCain, and you saw this with how Lindsey Graham changed so much after the death of John McCain. John McCain was using whatever he was using to keep the Republicans in Congress from doing the right thing.
Hello?
Yeah, you're back. All right, RJ, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, it's just my concern is that they didn't bring that, even though they would benefit, they didn't make a note of.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you were listening on the radio, not the phone, so I'll repeat it. John McCain is the reason why, and John McCain was the one that gave the Russia dossier to Comey. So John McCain had a lot of power. This Trump hater and deep stater. John McCain had a lot of power over the Republicans in Congress, and you notice an immediate change after he passed away during the Kavanaugh hearings. And look at how Lindsey Graham changed his tune after the death of John McCain. John McCain is the reason why Republicans didn't stand up and expose this.
Okay, the other point is the hacking of the DNC computer was done internally. It wasn't from an outside source. It could have been from Russia or some other organization because the download speed was done internally. It couldn't have been done over the...
Yeah. All right, appreciate the call, RJ. Yeah, RJ brought up some good stuff, but that's why. John McCain. I can't believe I voted for John McCain. He did give us Sarah Palin, but that, John McCain, more than a Republican in name only, he deep stater through and through. I mean, there's no getting around it. All right, well, welcome back. It is the second hour of the program, and, oh, man, things are just getting so hot with Obamagate. And I'm so glad Trump's actually talking about Obamagate. Yesterday, the White House reporter for One American News asked Kayleigh McEnany, the new spokesperson, the new White House press secretary, if there's an investigation. I mean, so it's coming up. Yeah. So Obama is actually making things much worse. Now, when I saw yesterday that California is going to keep the shutdown order, in particular in Los Angeles, until August now? Oh my goodness. I mean, that's just brutal. And basically what they're doing out there in California is they're putting the residents under house arrest. And, at this point, you've got to ask yourself, why are they doing that? Are they keeping California shut down for health reasons? No, I don't think anybody buys that anymore. And, you know, all this talk that the Democrats are trying to tank the economy, that they're trying to tank the economy to hurt Trump, that's a part of it. I think a lot of it has to do with the Democrats like power over people and they enjoy it. But a lot of it is trying to tank the economy for the election. And they're really misreading everything, because I see in Democrat communities people rising up. And I'll play some audio of this in a minute, but this is from the New York Post, and this is in California. California cops clashed with angry customers at a waffle shop that had opened in defiance of coronavirus lockdown orders. And the audio I'll play for you in a moment is body cam audio footage from the cop. At least a dozen people outside the Fresno store were immediately hostile when police officers arrived, telling them they had to wait in line like everybody else. The group blocked the door as officers tried to go in the waffle shop, even as they were threatened with arrest for interfering. A Vietnam veteran in front of the store repeatedly refused to move, telling the lead officer, "No, get your hands off of me," as he was moved aside. He was identified as 73-year-old Tom Miller. He was cuffed and led away from the store by officers. Fresno Police Chief Andy Hall said he was concerned over the manner in which this incident was handled, as he announced in an internal affairs probe. Fresno City Council member Gary Bredfield called it completely unnecessary, the arrest of the 73-year-old man, and a direct result of tyrannical policies being enforced as part of the lockdown. Waffle shop owner Amar Ibrahim was fined $5,000 for opening his waffle shop because of the ban on non-essential businesses in California. And let me play the audio of this. And, you know, this is historic stuff. You know, what's going on in this country right now, whether it's in Michigan or this incident I'm going to play for you in California or the hair salon owner in Texas, this is like the civil rights movement in the Vietnam protest era we're in. There are Americans that are rising up and saying that we're free people and you're not going to keep us locked at home and out of business and out of work. So this is in Fresno, California. This audio is from the body cam of the police officer. This waffle shop that I just read about has opened up. Customers have shown up. Police officers arrived to shut the business down, and the customers, following Martin Luther King, doing a sit-in, but they're standing, a standing sit-in, blocking the door peacefully, a peaceful demonstration, blocking officers from shutting down the waffle shop. And this is what happened.
All right, folks, make away.
Why? They don't have to let you in. They don't have to let you in. No, we don't waiting for hours. We do not. We should wait for hours.
Don't interfere with my father's job, okay? Do not interfere.
What?
For interference, okay? Make away, folks. Make away. Make away. Make away. Put your hand behind your back now. You want to take to somebody? Get your whole ass out of here now. That's right. But you did assault me.
See, now the officer is arresting the 73-year-old Vietnam veteran.
Shut up. Get on the way, man. I'll take you to jail too. Let's go. Over here, sir.
That's a violation of any other rights, you stupid bastard!
Yeah, let's go.
No, he's my husband.
I understand that, okay? I understand that, okay?
He has served 4 tours in Vietnam. He's a
4 tours?
He has a heart.
Okay?
You don't push your way through a crowd you had no right to be in.
Okay. Now, I know it's amazing. The significance of, there's a lot of significance to that. By the way, 4 tours in Vietnam? You only have to do 1 if you were drafted. The other 3 are volunteering. Those are Democrats. Those are Democrats. And that guy arrested, it's California. Democrat, probably, right? It's very interesting. So yeah, when I see this story, I mean, there's other protests elsewhere. You know, like what you see in Michigan, a lot of the militia guy, those are not Democrat. But when you see something in California like this, Democrats are rising up against these shutdown orders in California. You know, they're out there and they're on the scene. They know what's going on. They see it like you see it in your, you know, if you're in a community that's a danger or not. Okay? And when I see Democrats standing in front of a business to block police officers from trying to shut it down, and I see them arrest a 73-year-old Democrat like that, they can do all their phony baloney attempts to tank the economy and monkey around with the election result through mail-in ballots. This landslide of Trump and other Republicans is going to be bigger than anything we've ever seen. I mean, look at this Republican House seat, Katie Hill, right? She was the one with the weird bisexual photograph. She resigned. They had a special election. A Republican won last night, and Katie Hill's district, which has been Democrat for how long? 32 years, something like that. A 3-decade-long Democrat seat turned to Republican last night in California. That's amazing, because people in these Democrats, and she was just elected, right? So that was a very, and she did not win by a close margin. I think she won a huge chunk of the vote when Katie Hill won. I don't remember the breakdowns, but Katie Hill won big there, and it went Republican for the first time since the 80s. I mean, that is a measure of how things are going. There is a civil rights type, Vietnam protest type movement going on in this country of people who want to be able to go back to work or go and get their nails done or go and order a meal. And California ordering the lockdown to extend till August. Oh boy. And you know, this lady in Michigan, this lady governor in Michigan, let's see, do I have audio? I think yeah, I do. Governor Whitmer in Michigan has totally lost her mind. This is her yesterday, the governor of Michigan, about the shutdown.
What we need to do is continue what we have done. It's working. And for people that want to voice their frustration, that's fine. But I expect people to follow the law. These executive orders are not a suggestion. They're not optional. They're not helpful hints.
Yeah, they're orders. These executive, well, they're not laws either. You're not passing laws and signing laws. See, here's the deal with her. And I was surprised. I was surprised she's a married lady. She's got a husband. Oh my goodness. I'd love to meet the husband and see what he's like. Do you think the husband is a manly man? I don't know. This is what the Michigan governor tells herself. Okay? This is what the Michigan governor tells herself about the protesters. She tells herself a couple of things. But the main thing she tells herself in private, and when she's talking to her friends and her emasculated husband, what she tells them herself is this: they're only doing this because I'm a woman. If I were a man governor, if I were a male governor, they wouldn't be doing this. They don't respect me because I'm a woman. Girl power. They're not going to push. Just because I'm a woman doesn't mean they can push me around. That's what she's telling herself and her friends and her confidants and her husband. And what the protests do are have her dig in more. And I'll tell you, when you go to a state like Michigan, all these protesters, yeah, most of them are Trump people, but not all of them. Not all of them. Just like in California. You're in Fresno, there may have been some Republicans there, but most of them were Democrats. And so these people that are, you know, where things are not opening up are Democrat states, Democrat communities, right? Because Republican governors like we have here in Florida are opening everything up. It's the Democrats everywhere that are keeping things closed, like in New York. So these are Democrat states, majority Democrats. So the people that, and these are where the protests are happening because their states are the ones not opening. The Texas hairdresser thing is an exception, but you know, she's in a Democrat community there. But the states where they're not opening up are Democrat states, and the protesters, because they're Democrat states, are mostly Democrats. Okay, mostly Democrats. You know, so that tells you a lot about what's going on here. If people were blaming Trump, that Republican would not have won Katie Hill's seat last night in California. First Republican since the late 80s to win it. It would have been a Democrat victory if they blamed Trump. All right, let's take our break. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back.
The owner of Ace Hardware Deerfield and Beach Ace Hardware wants you and your family to be protected during the coronavirus pandemic and has an incredible offer for listeners of The Steve Kane Show.
We get products continually coming in during the week. We get disinfectants, bleach, gloves, cleaning supplies. Everybody's looking for face masks. So the best thing that we came up with was a face covering. A lot of the cities are going to ask you to cover your face. So we've got a supply of bandanas. I'd love if every one of your customers that come in a free bandana, just for mentioning the Steve Kane Show. The bandanas are face covering, and the cities are going to require, as we start to go back to work and get out, that everybody's required to have their face covered. So you can use this bandana to cover your mouth and your nose and to protect you and protect all those around you. The other thing is, while you're at home, why don't you get that honeydew list done? It's that painting project or sprinkler supply, or maybe treat yourself to a new grill.
Wow, what a great deal. These bandanas are reusable because you can wash them. So stop into Ace Hardware in Deerfield, just south of Hillsborough Boulevard on the west side of US 1, and Beach Ace Hardware, located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, Lauderdale by the Sea, and get your free bandana from Ace Hardware.
President Trump here. Join Steve Kane and Brian Craig on the Steve Kane Trump 2020 Victory Cruise on board the Celebrity Edge. The cruise will be to celebrate my re-election. Don't be a loser, be a winner, just like me. And join Steve Kane and Brian Craig on the Steve Kane Trump 2020 Victory Cruise.
Thank you, Mr. President. Join Steve Kane and me, Brian Craig, celebrating the victory of President Trump as we sail December 6th out of Fort Lauderdale on a 7-day Trump 2020 Victory Cruise. First stop, San Juan, Puerto Rico. Second stop, Tortola, British Virgin Islands, and then St. Martin. Call in at Cruise and Travel Depot, 561-244-5779, 561-244-5779, and join us celebrating the re-election of President Trump, 561-244-5779.
Hi, this is George Corey of the Soul Authority. In this time of social distancing and sheltering in place, many people have been forced to neglect their feet. We at the Soul Authority are making it possible for you to still take care of your feet while remaining in your home, as we will send a doctor to your house for all of your podiatric needs. The best part of all is that Medicare pays for this visit. So, if you're a Medicare recipient, give the Soul Authority a call today at 954-597-7060. That's 954-597-7060.
Oh, no, that's a good one.
Don't let social distancing stop you from taking care of your feet. Call the Soul Authority today.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show
Steve
on
Kane Show.
Radio. Just search for WWNN.
All right. Welcome, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, back here with you. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. All right, let's go back to our busy phones, somewhat open phones today, as long as it's relevant to the dialogue. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. It's John from Wellington.
John in Wellington. What's up?
Did I hear the governor of Michigan correctly? Did she say that she expected her people to obey the law?
Well, she says she is the law. Her word is law, is what she said. These are not suggestions. These orders are law, is what she's saying.
So she does expect her people to obey what she considers to be the law. And yet Michigan has many sanctuary cities harboring criminals.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Why do we have to obey the law, but Democrats don't?
Yeah. Do you know anything about her husband? I wonder if he's a manly man or kind of a wimpy guy.
It would be easy enough to Google it, though.
Nah, I'm not interested enough. Yeah, but it is significant, though, that in California, more obvious because in Michigan, these militia guys keep showing up, but huge chunks of these protesters rising up against these lockdowns are Democrats rising up against Democrats. The Democrat leaders don't see how much they're alienating their constituents, I don't think.
Oh, yeah. Well, just like everything else that Democrats do, it's going to backfire. It's going to blow up right in their faces.
Yeah, but people are luckily we're opening up. You know, here today in Boca, the Boca Town Center Mall is opening up today. So it's very exciting. You know, we're opening
Monday for the first time in months, and I actually sat down in a nice restaurant and I had a meal. It was fantastic.
Yeah, and they're talking about Broward opening up next week, which means you'll be able to sit down at Wings Plus and have a meal inside, not just take out. Yeah, I know. I haven't sat down in a restaurant yet. I went to Chipotle yesterday, and they had some chairs down at like every other table, you know, where you could sit down and, you know, I don't like to eat at Chipotle because the tables are metal. I feel like I'm eating on an autopsy table. I always do takeout at Chipotle, but it's nice to see the chairs on the floors at tables at restaurants again.
So I made an appointment for Friday at 9:30 to get my hair cut for the first time in 3 months.
Well, that is a liberating thing. When I had my hair cut on Monday, it seems so strange. It really does, but I felt free. I didn't realize how oppressed I felt until after I walked out of getting my hair cut. You know, we're not used to being told. This is a free country, you know, and we're not used to being told we can't do things. All right, John in Wellington, take care. Yeah, you know, like, not this weekend, but next, I'm going with my daughter to Disney World. Disney World is partially opening next week. And they're not opening up the theme parks yet. They're opening up Disney Springs, which is an entertainment shopping area they have. And I'm going to go up there for the day. Not this weekend, because it won't be open until the middle of next week. But next week, I'm going to go up there with my daughter, get out of the house, and enjoy Florida, right? Enjoy Florida. Things are opening up in spite of that. Now, this new press secretary we have, McEnany, she is just, I mean, she is spectacular. She really is. I was a little concerned about her. I've seen her on TV many times. Okay, she's been a pundit. She's been on TV throughout the campaign, and she's on TV all the time as a pundit. They call her a Trump surrogate. And being up there at that podium is much different. And she is a maestro, isn't she? She's a maestro. And she has skills as a press secretary that mortals do not have. She has the ability that no matter what they are asking her, she has the ability to turn it around on the disgusting members of the media, and then she's able to cut them off. She cuts right away from them and goes to the next person, and they're not able to keep going. I don't know how she's doing it, but I was talking about this the other day. She's like, I would compare her to Tony Snow, who was press secretary for G.W. Bush briefly. But I would say McEnany, I've seen her in action about 3 times. She is, I think, the most effective press secretary I have ever seen at the White House. I think I can say that with confidence, because she's going up against these hostile people. Now, I was reading this morning that CNN's not carrying her press conferences now. Yeah, CNN has been griping and whining for a year for they stopped the press conferences because they were becoming, they were just, what they were becoming. I don't have to tell you. So they stopped the daily televised press conference. And CNN in particular have been whining about it for a year. So now they're back with McEnany, and they're getting, their what's kicked. So now they're not carrying them. But then why were they griping so? Now, this exchange yesterday over the masks is hilarious. The media, they weren't wearing masks for a long time, and they were not wearing masks because they're on television and they want you to be able to see them. They want their faces on TV. And the media went after Pence and Trump for not wearing masks at these appearances. And then I think it was McEnany said, well, wait a minute, you guys aren't wearing masks. So now the media are wearing masks. And, the ones that really crack me up are when I'm watching some of these reporters out on location and they're all alone. There's not even a person around them. And now, like the regular reporters on the street, when there's no one, are wearing masks too. And the White House reporters are wearing masks. So this exchange yesterday is with McEnany and one of the reporters. It's very difficult to understand the reporter because he's wearing a mask and his voice is muffled. But he starts to go after McEnany because she's not wearing a mask. And she's always got an answer. It's a great answer, and she shuts him down every time. Listen.
White House staff yesterday were asked to wear masks around the West Wing, except when they were seated.
So you can't even understand this guy because the mask is muffling his voice.
Staff yesterday were asked to wear masks around the West Wing, except when they were seated at their desks. I can't help but notice you're not wearing a mask. What's the reason for that? Is that a television thing, or?
No, it's because I'm distanced from you. You probably have a hard time hearing from me right now. Should I have a mask on and not be muffled? I'm delivering information to the American people. I'm an appropriate distance away. I had a negative test today. I had a negative test yesterday, and I'm in an okay place. Yes.
And then, boom, she moves on to someone else. That's it. That is not it looks easy. When somebody is highly skilled, very talented, and is a maestro like she is, it looks easy. Well, you just tell them that, It's not. It is not easy. I think she's great. I mean, she's the best. Out of all the press secretaries, I wish she was the press secretary on day one instead of Spicer. When Spicer came out with those pictures from the inauguration, he looked like a boob. He never recovered from it. And then he went on Dancing with the Stars with the puffy shirt. It's just, and it made it worse. But McEnany is a superstar. And, I also notice she doesn't not only does she always have an answer, she feeds it back to them. They got nowhere to go. She moves on quickly. And then when she's done, she's out of there. She doesn't have these prolonged things. When she's done, she's out of there. She leaves. And she knows how to leave at a high point. Just like, Trump. I still believe Ari Fleischer is advising Trump and McEnany. Sarah Sanders was never like this. Sarah Sanders had a good press conference or two in the beginning. If Sarah Sanders was this good, they never would have stopped the press conferences. Sarah Sanders was weak. Okay? Weak. You're not dealing with a normal press here. You're dealing with very hostile people that hate you like the plague. This is not what you would normally get. There was always one snarky person in the press corps with every president, but now it's everybody. And now McEnany does have an advantage that other press secretaries did not have on their early days. There's fewer members of the media in there because of social distancing. So it will be interesting to see how well she does when things open back up to normal in there. When it's if they ever go back to that. I don't think they should go back to that. I think that they should go. If anybody says that Sarah Huckabee was anywhere near McEnany, you just are lying to yourselves or you don't remember. She was never that good. Never that good. All right, listen, we'll take our break for the bottom of the hour. When we get back, there's much more to talk about. My name's Brian Craig. You are listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We'll be right back after this.
9.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
We have on the line attorney Barry Siegel, our estate planning attorney, and he's going to tell you what you can do to take care of your family in this very difficult period. Barry, what have you seen happening with estate planning since the outbreak of the coronavirus?
Since the outbreak of the corona-19 virus, people have taken estate planning much more seriously. One of the things that we talk about often is how people procrastinate when it comes to setting up their estate planning, because estate planning, most of the time for people, is something they should do. But what the coronavirus has done with the outbreak and concern is made people put this at the top of their list. So instead of it being a should, it's become a must. And therefore, we have received a ton of calls from people who have been telling us that they've been meaning to do this for a long time, but now they've realized how important it is to make sure, even if they're doing everything right and they stay home and do their social distancing, they still just want to make sure that they have that peace of mind that they've set up their estate plan to take care of the people that they love. Many people prefer face-to-face meetings. I typically am one of those people. With what's going on, we are still able to help people either by doing telephone consultations or even video consultations. We can send a link over to you, and all you have to do is touch the button, and all of a sudden we're face-to-face. We can see each other, and we can have a consultation just as if you were sitting in our conference room. And the whole point of it is you don't have to worry about your safety. You don't have to come in wearing gloves and a mask. All you have to do is we ask you that you fill out a questionnaire if you're married, that that both you and your spouse attend, and we're able to do the same things and ask the same questions and have the same conversations that we do when you're sitting right there in our conference room, either over the phone or by video conference. It's been working out very, very well.
People are very concerned in this time about their health care. What planning is important for people to have as it relates to their health care?
Brian, the healthcare planning is so very important. There are 3 key healthcare documents that everybody should have in their estate plan. The first one is the healthcare surrogate designation. The healthcare surrogate designation is a document that allows you to choose the surrogate or an agent to step into your shoes and make your healthcare decisions for you if you are unable to do so. We always recommend that you name at least 2, or you could name 2 people together, but the people you name can step in and make decisions for you health-wise, even life-ending decisions. The second healthcare document that is very important is the living will. The living will is the document that's typically...
Welcome, everyone. Make sure you subscribe.
If you are mentally incapacitated, so you can't make your own healthcare decisions, and you have a terminal condition, an end-stage condition, or you're in a persistent vegetative state, the living will tell your healthcare surrogate whether or not you want to be kept alive on a machine if the machine is the only thing keeping you alive while you're in those conditions. So it's very important to have that so that your healthcare decision maker will be able to know what it is that you would have wanted. The third healthcare document that is so important is called a HIPAA authorization and release. You've been to a doctor in the last, let's say 17 years since the HIPAA law came out, and you've signed off that you read their HIPAA policy. And their HIPAA policy basically says that they won't share private medical information with anybody other than other doctors, other specialists, other medical providers. The HIPAA authorization and release that you set up with your estate planning says, I want my medical information kept private, but you can share it with my spouse, my child, my brother, my sister, my friend, whoever it is that you would want them to be allowed to access your medical information, either by talking to the doctors and nurses and other medical staff, or even getting your medical records. So all 3 of those healthcare documents are so important for everyone to have, just in everyday life, let alone during these times.
Now, Barry, the Siegel Law Group, you are donating healthcare documents to people in high-risk professions, as healthcare workers, first responders, and even those who work at animal clinics and shelters.
Yeah, I can't say enough for the people out there who are risking their lives. This is
I know, it's abusive how they treat the One America reporter.
Heroes out there who are taking care of all of these ill people. So we wanted to make sure that they have the proper documentation that they needed for their own planning for themselves and their families so that they would be protected. So we are offering healthcare workers, first responders, and those who deal with animals in animal clinics and animal shelters, we are offering them a free healthcare surrogate designation and a free living will. So all they have to do is call our office and we'll take care of that for them. Again, for all of you who are doing those difficult work, handling that heavy load for all of us, we thank you very much. When you call the Siegel Law Group, we will give you a free consultation. That consultation can be either over the phone or by video conference, but the consultation will be free. So please give us a call and we will set that up for you.
Call Barry Siegel's office right now and take advantage of that free consultation. His number is toll-free, 1-855-FLA-3782, 1-855-FLA-3782, online, SiegelLawGroup.com.
Listen to The Steve King Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve King Show. You know, the reason President Trump doesn't wear a mask is because as president, he needs to show confidence. You know, if he went out there with a mask every day, that'd be a panic. That's why he ended these Fauci press conferences. You know, because it starts a panic. Now, this is from the LA Times. It's about this Katie Hill race. This is great stuff. LA Times, liberal paper. Republican Mike Garcia leads in race to fill Katie Hill's seat. Republican Mike Garcia jumped to an early lead Tuesday over Democrat Christy Smith. Hey, why is their candidate, the Democrats, white, and our candidate, Garcia, is Hispanic? Republican Mike Garcia jumped to an early lead Tuesday over Democrat Christy Smith in the runoff for a House seat in the LA suburbs, raising GOP hopes of flipping a blue California congressional district for the first time since 98. Oh, I said 88 earlier, 98. What the hell? That's 22 years. Early results in the election to fill the remainder of Katie Hill's first term showed Garcia, a defense industry executive, ahead of Democratic State Assemblywoman Smith of Santa Clarita by 12 points. with 76% of precincts reporting. The final tally in the nearly all mail-in ballot contest will not be available for several days. So this is fascinating. The Democrats are pushing for this mail-in fraud operation, and even with a vote fraud, mail-in ballot, we're ahead. If this guy won, if he's ahead by 12 points in a California mail-in, he's really ahead probably by 18 to 20. Wouldn't you guess? Democrat district flipped to Republican. Now he's only going to be there for a short time because, you know, in November there'll be another election in that seat. But that is a major tell. You know, and in California, they've got nothing to do but vote by mail. They got nothing to do. Right? California's shut down. They're under lockdown. Nothing's open. So you should have the turnout, even though it's mostly by mail, between the fact that it's a mail-in vote and a lot of people in California are now working, the vote turnout number should be much higher than normal, and it's still going Republican. That is historic, and it's, you know, and in the press they're not gonna focus in too much on this. First time since '98, 22 years, first time since '98. They don't want to focus in on that much because it shows you where the country's going. Right, the country is going against the Democrats. You know, I tell you, one of the saddest people in America today is Robert De Niro. Is it? You know, there was a time when Robert De Niro was like the most respected guy. Everybody loved Robert De Niro, and now he truly is dirty grandpa. And De Niro is doing so much. That was the notification on the computer. It was a notification asking me if I want to see fewer notifications. Can you imagine? I tell you, these Windows 10, I hate Windows. You guys hate Windows? I hate Windows computers, especially this Windows 10, which I can't figure out too well. I'm a Mac guy, and in our computer we use to play the commercials is a Windows 10 computer, and it's just, I don't like. Once you go to Mac, it's hard to go back to Windows. Anyway, regardless of that. But Robert De Niro, yeah, he's just become a sad, sad guy. He gave an interview to the BBC talking about Trump. Here's De Niro talking to the BBC.
It's appalling. It's appalling. He wants to be reelected. He doesn't even care how many people die.
Trump has given himself a platform because he is the democratically elected president of the US, and his fan base would presumably take issue with you saying he doesn't care about deaths or about what happens to American lives, and they will vote for him again.
No, he doesn't care. He doesn't care for those people, and the people who he pretends to care about are the people he has the most disdain for, because he could care less about that.
Okay, he doesn't care how many people die, De Niro says. You know, the thing about De Niro, I think it's obvious that with De Niro, it's personal more than anything, right? Something personal, something at some point in his life, before Trump was president, he felt slighted. Like, he showed up in Atlantic City for a Tyson fight, and Trump didn't get him the seat that he thought as an A. Something like that happened. He didn't get the seat at the Tyson fight that he thinks Trump should have gave. It's a little too personal for Robert De Niro. What it is, I don't know. And, you know, the thing about De Niro, the more I hear him, the more mediocre of an actor I start to think he is. And I remember De Niro, when De Niro was a big movie star, he did very few television interviews. Right? Jack Nicholson won't do them, but he did very few De Niro interviews. The only television interview prior to this era, the only television interview I saw with Robert De Niro, I think ever, when he was a movie star, because he's not a movie star anymore, but when he was a movie star, Rosie O'Donnell had her daytime show before she was on The View. Remember that? I saw him on that, and he was very uninteresting. And now I know why De Niro did not do interviews all those years. He's an unlikable, nasty guy. And the studio's probably, he tried to pull this Jack Nicholson kind of thing about not doing TV interviews, but I think they kept him from doing them because who's going to go see his movies when he comes off as nasty as that? But you know, if this were 1980 or 88, people would care. No one cares what Robert De Niro says, and he's just a sad, feeble, disgusting man. And for him to go on television in a foreign country and say those terrible things about our president, no one even cares, right? No one even cares. I know we play it, and it's just sad. And what he's really doing is he's spoiling his movies for me. My favorite De Niro movie is Heat with Val Kilmer and Al Pacino. But I've seen Heat probably 80 times. I love that movie. It's a Michael Mann movie who did Miami Vice. I know a lot of people like Heat. I love Heat. Godfather 2 is whenever I watch Godfather 2, I fast forward through the De Niro parts. That just goes on too long. I fast forward till Raging Bull, boring. Goodfellas was good, but he wasn't the star of that. But when an actor does what he's doing, I try not to pay too much attention to it because it does spoil what you like about it. Do you guys, does that happen to you? They take you out of the escape of the movie or the TV show, But the day of me, and I think most people caring about what any actor says, are long gone. All right, let's take our last break of the second hour. When we get back, there's much more to talk about. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Night's sleep in the whole wide world is My Pillow.
Steve Kane Show.
You've heard the jingle and seen the commercials.
Thought it was great. Hold on.
You will get the best night's sleep you've ever had with a My Pillow.
I want to
right now is the best time to do it.
soon. I want to update our half hour. We have like a half hour infomercial with you. We need to update it. I went through it the other day and it's just a little dated. So at some point we got to get you to come to our studio to do that.
My Pillow, get one for free. There's a BOGO offer right now on the Giza.
Oh, it's one of the times we had you on the show a long time ago.
Get the second set free.
You gotta love BOGO deals.
Okay, all right, great. Hold
You
on.
can take advantage of so many right now at MyPillow.com.
There's a lot of other deals too. Again, go to MyPillow.com, click on that radio listener link, and you've got to use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout to get these incredible deals. So go right now to MyPillow.com, click the radio listener special. Make sure to use that promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout to take advantage of all of the great deals. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. Make sure to use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, 1-800-716-4879.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for Double.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. And of course, a very important part of keeping this the longest running radio show is keeping us youthful. And that's where Dr. Mitch Matez comes in. Dr. Matez, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Doing well. How are you, Doc? Oh.
In many ways, and I can tell you, if the guy would get his hormones in order, he'd have a whole lot better outlook on life. He'd feel a whole lot better.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
So you can put him on the list of people that need to come to the Boca Raton Center for Age Management.
No doubt about that.
It's a great example. If you remember, there was a movie, Grumpy Old Man, which was actually a pretty funny movie. It was Lauren Raphael and Jack Lemmon, I believe. Grumpy Old Man is an expression that is deep in reality. And everybody knows people who, were pretty mellow, chill, friendly, likable people, and then the older they got, the more crotchety and miserable and grumpy they got. That is the result of losing your hormones. And if you're feeling like a grumpy old man or a grumpy old lady,
Yeah.
fix it really easily. You get your hormones back, you get your vigor back, you get your outlook on life back, you get your energy, your libido, your strength restored. You've heard of, you Brian say, I'm
Oh, yeah.
Great time to act, folks. Things are starting to come around. Things are opening up. People are going to be getting out and at 'em. And if you want to be one of those people that's living it to the fullest, hormone replacement can help you do it.
Oh, there's no doubt about it, and it certainly is age reversing. And I notice in people that I see that are patients of yours, Dr. Matez, that they, even in my opinion, they appear to be younger when I see them, because they become more active, they're more confident. It has a dramatic effect on both men and women. And let me tell you, every person that I have ever met who's a listener to this program that is a patient of yours, when I meet them, the first thing they tell me is they're using hormone replacement pellet therapy, and how much it has changed their life for the better.
I like something up a couple weeks ago when I was in the studio with the phrase, if you want to look better, and you want to feel better, and you want to be better.
Yeah, and of course, it will restore your sex drive and restore your ability to have sex as well, both in men and women who are having difficulty in those areas. Give Dr. Matez a call. It's a completely free consultation for listeners of the Steve Kane Show. 561-953-5490. 561-953-5490. And online, hormonetherapybocaratone.com. All right, Dr. Matez, we'll talk later in the week. All right, take care, take care. Yeah, it's Wednesday already. This week's flying by. It's flying by. It's flying by because things are opening up. Things are opening up, and it's exciting that things are opening up. You're able to get out of the house and do things that you could not do before. And it feels pretty darn good to me. It really does. All right, our number, toll free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Now, Chuck Todd did this apology yesterday on air over this edited clip of Barr. And I think that's a historic apology. When has NBC News apologized? There's NBC News, and then there's MSNBC. He's NBC. He's Meet the Press. Meet the Press is the flagship show of the NBC News division, even more so than their nightly news. It's elevated above all the rest. And he's an anchor. He's not like one of these, bottom feeders over on MSNBC. He's at the network on their top show, so far as credibility-wise goes. He is equal to he is probably, who is even the NBC nightly news anchor now? Is it Lester Holt still? He is more the face of NBC News than even their network anchor would be these days. For Chuck Todd to come out with any type of apology is historic. It's an apology again to Trump. He's apologizing to President Trump. When have you seen anything like this happen? Now let me play, before I play the apology, which we'll decide if it's really an apology, let me play the edited video. I think I still have that from the other day. Hold on, let's see here. I know I had that, I played that a couple days ago. Let's see here, Bill Maher, De Niro. I know I have it. Well, maybe I don't. Oh yeah, here it is. Oh, no, that's not it. Hold on, where is it? Yeah, okay, here it is. Okay, here's the edited section that's controversial. The first part is the selective editing by Meet the Press, and the second part, you get to hear it in context.
Brought up Bill Barr. Peggy Noonan, I want you to listen to this Bill Barr answer to a question about what will history say about this. Wait till you hear this answer. Take a listen.
When history looks back on this decision, how do you think it will be written?
Well, history's written by the winners, so it largely depends on who's writing the history.
I was struck, Peggy, by the cynicism of the answer. It's a correct answer, but he's the Attorney General. He didn't make the case that he was upholding the rule of law. He was almost admitting that, yeah, this is a political job.
Okay, so that's the edited version, and now here's the unedited version, and then we'll play the apology and talk about it.
On this decision, how do you think it will be written?
Well, history's written by the winners, so it's largely depends on who's writing the history, but I think a fair history would say it was a good decision because it upheld the rule of law, it upheld the standards of the Department of Justice, and it undid what was an injustice.
Okay, so that's the unedited part. And now he's apologized for it. And I got to tell you this. Out of everything that I've seen in the mainstream media, including NBC News, MSNBC, and everything else over the years, this seems to be a minor happening. Don't you guys think? Out of everything you've heard from NBC News, this seems to be such a minor happening. Now, let me play the apology. Here's Chuck Todd's apology yesterday. I had my mic on.
Before we go to break, I wanted to talk for a moment about something that occurred on Sunday's edition of Meet the Press. During the program, we aired a soundbite from a CBS News interview with the Attorney General, Bill Barr. In the bite that we aired and commented on, Mr. Barr was asked how he thinks the history of his decision to end the prosecution of the former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn will be written. Mr. Barr answered, quote, "History is written by the winner, so it largely depends on who's writing the history." In the full version of the interview and transcript, he went on to say, "But I think a fair history would say that it was a good decision because it upheld the rule of law." Now, we did not edit that out. That was not our edit. We didn't include it because we only saw the shorter of 2 clips that CBS did air. We should have looked at both and checked for a full transcript. A mistake that I wish we hadn't made, and one that I wish I hadn't made. The second part of the Attorney General's answer would have put it in the proper context. And had I seen that part of the interview, I would not have framed the conversation the way I did. And I obviously am very sorry for that mistake. We strive to do better going forward.
Okay, now, that was not an apology. I mean, he said this happened, it's not our fault, it's not my fault. This is the video we saw, it was already edited that way, we did nothing wrong, I'm sorry if you thought we did, we'll try not to make you think we did something wrong. But that's not an apology. But I don't understand why there was any type of apology over that, because that seems to me to be a minor... When I first heard the controversy, I didn't think it was really shocking or that much of a misrepresentation. I don't think they did not edit him. They did not edit that audio to make the Attorney General say something he didn't, or to give an answer to or take an answer he gave to another question and apply. It really wasn't out of context. I thought the clip was fair. It was somewhat in context, a little bit out of context, but not that big of a deal. I thought when I first saw this story on Monday, I thought it was, something not even really worthy of much discussion on the show. I did play it on Monday. We talked about it. But I didn't really feel like it was that much out of context. I think I was talking to Steve about, is this really out of context that much? I don't think it was. I don't think it was. But why, out of everything that has been reported falsely about this president on NBC News, did they apologize for that? Now, we can speculate on that. I'll give you one thought that pops into my mind. They're worried about Barr, because Barr is coming after their own, the Comeys, the McCabe's, and that group of people. Out of everything that's ever been reported about President Trump on NBC News that was false, that's one of the most minor of all. The only difference is it involves it's calling into question the integrity of the Attorney General, who is making decisions on if Comey and Brennan and Clapper and Page and Strzok and all these other people are going to face criminal charges. That's the only thing that I can think of that would make them give even that wimpy apology. I can't think of any other... Can you? Why did they apologize for what I would consider to be a minor misrepresentation? Our number's toll-free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. 2631. Third and final hour begins right now. Don't go anywhere.
FM 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
You're stuck in your home and the dog days of summer are coming. It's already happening on the hot days in the late afternoon and early evenings. Your air conditioner is running more and more and may even run constantly, struggling to keep your home cool and hold the temperature that you have it set on. And in some homes, it can't even keep up, losing the battle. And the temperature in your house climbs and you're hot, humid, and uncomfortable. And to top it all off, your electric bill is about to double or even triple. Here comes summer. The cure is reflective and or blown insulation. Stop the heat gain and cut your electric bill up to 35% off. Act now and get the pandemic special, our off-season sale. Act now. Save 50% on reflective and or blown insulation and cut your electric bill up to 35%. Call Scott from CutMyKilowatts.com at 954-939-1500. That's 954-939-1500. CutMyKilowatts.com. Put your house in the shade today.
Denture wearers, are messy adhesives ruining the taste of your food? Is it painful for you to eat? Does the constant denture movement affect your speech? Are you always worried that your dentures will fall out while you're talking or laughing? Do you have sore spots? You are not alone. These are common problems that can be solved simply with dental implants. This is Steve Kane, and I want to introduce you to Brighton Dental Care, where the Kane family goes for all our dental needs. Brighton Dental Care doesn't want cost to stop you from being able to eat the foods you love again and live in comfort. That's why, for Steve Kane listeners, they're offering implants, get this, for just $3,500. That includes 2 implants plus a lower denture. Now, if you go to a dentist in Boca or in Aventura, they're going to charge you $6,000 for the exact same implants and denture. That's right, $6,000, but at Brighton Dental Care, just $3,500, and that includes the 2 implants plus your lower denture. Laugh and live with confidence. Call Brighton Dental Care at 954-922-4633, 954-922-4633, and online at BrightonDentalCare.com. Be sure to ask about special discounts for our military veterans. This is Steve Kane for attorney Barry Siegel. Barry did a great job for me and my family when we needed a revocable living trust. Listen to one of our listeners, Ray, talk about his experience with Barry Siegel.
I want to praise Barry Siegel. And one of the most important things about sponsors is integrity. You have to know that you're dealing with an honest person. I had to go up to Myrtle Beach for my sister because her husband died, and I was helping her out. She had a trust and everything. She had not revised this trust since 1997. And, you know, Barry says every 3 years.
Hey guys, make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed, all right?
Questions. I let the secretary know. So look, I'm calling from South Carolina. I know the laws are different, and I'm just asking for information for my sister. Now, you know, most people would just blow you off, right? You know, almost immediately, within a few minutes, Barry himself called me. I asked my questions and so on.
Well,
and
call me on the air about it.
Very patient. I was quite a while with him, and I talked about a lot of things, you know, and this and that. But I wanted to say, you know, character, integrity, these are the most important things with sponsors, and all of your sponsors, because I've dealt with a lot of them, they all have that you can trust them and you know you're getting a fair shake.
Do what Ray did. Call attorney Barry Siegel right now. Toll free 1-855-FLA-3782. That's 1-855 toll free FLA-3782. Tell them Steve sent you.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, on the radio since 1977. The third and final hour has begun, and I just want to let everybody know that Monday was the 28th anniversary of Friendly Tire and Margate in business at the same location. And, of course, incredible prices on new and used tires that will not be beaten anywhere else, I promise you. Okay, at Friendly Tire. He'll give you a quote right over the phone. Give Mike over there a call, 954-977-9445. He has all the name brands you know and love. He has thousands of used tires in stock. These are very good used tires as well, starting at just $30 a tire. His new tire prices cannot be beaten, okay? Now, he doesn't charge you to balance the tire, mount the tire, the phony disposal fee, the other places charge. The price he quotes you is out the door and on the road. My daughter's car, the cheapest tires I could find at the other tire shops around town, $135 a tire. Friendly Mike's price, $65 a tire. That's amazing, right? $70 savings per tire. The savings greater than the price of the tire. Brand new tires, $65 a tire, out the door and on the road. My wife's car, the cheapest price I could find around town, $165 a tire. Friendly Tires price, $75 a tire, out the door and on the road. Steve Kane's tires, the cheapest we could find for his tires, $175. Friendly Tires price, $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Brand new tires, out the door and on the road. They have all the brand names you know and love as well, like Michelin and Goodyear. If you have a luxury vehicle, a sports car, if you have run flats on your vehicle, he can get you incredible deals on those tires as well. If you have a commercial vehicle or a commercial vehicle fleet, give Friendly Tire a call. Incredible deals on commercial vehicles and fleet vehicles as well. His number, toll free, 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Friendly Tire in Margate, 28 years in business at the same location this week. So tell them happy anniversary when you call. All right, Bob Reich, you're on the radio.
Brian, my friend, how are you doing in your new studio?
Oh, I love it. It's great. Fifth floor view. It's great.
Hi, Brian.
That's right. That's right. We're moving on up.
Listen, I have two things. Would you like the positive thing first or the negative thing?
Now do the positive because the negative will be more interesting. We want to spend more time on that.
Okay, very good. The positive is, I just want to tell everybody, I was a sponsor of yours for years, and I still benefit from a lot of the marvelous clients that I got when I was the sponsor on your show. They are with me, they do business with me, and I have got to say it was worth everything to be a sponsor of your show. I gained very much from it.
Great. Good to hear. Thanks so much. Thanks so much. Now take issue. Now that you've done the propping up, tear me down now. Tear me down.
You make light of that difference in the Barr quote, and I really don't get it because the host made a big deal about the fact that Barr couldn't defend his position. That was his whole point by that edited portion not being in there. When Barr did defend his position, when they gave the real quote, and of course they always have an excuse, and I never believe them anyway. But it seems to me that turned the entire premise of the of the host around because Barr did defend his position.
Yeah.
I think it was rather significant.
Well, I'm not saying it wasn't. I don't buy Chuck Todd's line of BS either. They knew exactly what they were doing. But when you look throughout the history of the reporting on President Trump, this is a minor thing compared to the dossier, the collusion with Russia, Putin's puppet, Stormy Daniels, all these stories over the years. They were saying recently that he owned stock in the malaria drug company and things like this. It seems to be a minor thing to apologize for, considering all the other false reporting that they have done and continue to do.
But I hardly think he's going to go through a litany of all.
Well, why did they apologize for this out of all the misreporting?
The most current thing, and they caught heat for it. It was the newest thing.
Yeah. Maybe that's it. I think it's more that they're afraid of Barr, that Barr and Durham's indictments, that, I think the delay in indictments right now is because there's no grand juries convened in D.C. because of the, coronavirus. And when the grand juries are back, the indictments are coming from Durham. They seem ready to go.
I think but again, here's my biggest problem with all that. And I thought of this, I wanted to have an organization years ago with regard to the press. Because even what's coming out now, you can see how with the press playing ball with it and twisting it around, there's so much right now coming out, and we're not getting the full impact.
Yeah.
The biggest enemy is the press, but that's not
enemy. Lou Dobbs
Steve Kane
says
Show.
this all the time. It's the big corporations
Do you
that
wanna go
own
on?
the press. AT&T that owns CNN.
Oh, I'll check it out. Okay.
Amazon that owns the Washington Post. The big corporations are the real enemy, because if they weren't feeding these people and backing them up, we'd get some objectivity. So they hide in their boardrooms, they hide in their high offices, and we don't get to them. We need a boycott of the big companies, the Comcast. We need a boycott of the real puppet masters behind the press. And unless we get it together and do that, they'll...
Oh, the press is a poison. The press is a poison on our society. And, you know, if it were not for my job, I wouldn't watch any of it. You know, but it's different. Doing the job I do, I just can't sit around and watch One American News. I have to have something to gripe about. And to gripe, I got to pay attention to CNN and things like that. But, yeah, I agree with you. I would like to see a mass organized boycott of cable news, at least. But they don't care about ratings. Well, you know, Russia's talked about this a lot. What goes on a lot with the mainstream media has to do with the New York marketing agencies keeping them afloat. You know, they tell you the news business is not really a profitable thing for the companies. What the mainstream news do for the major corporations that own them is influence public opinion to benefit the big parent company. That's why they keep them around at losing money. Yeah.
Well, the source, because the future of the press, I'm looking at something that terrifies me. A write-in vote? A write-in vote with all the fraud that these people mastermind?
Oh, yeah.
This is, and the press is behind it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And, oh, yeah.
People, I've got bright friends who all they do is it's the New York Times, and it's, you know, it's CNN, and they don't know from anything. And that's the game.
Or MSNBC. But I'll tell you, I didn't quite get this at first yesterday. I was a little aggravated at the Republicans that they had the Fauci hearing yesterday, and then I started watching it. And yesterday was the beginning of Fauci's downfall. Yesterday, when you watch that hearing, he no longer is a medical expert, he's a political hack. And that Senate hearing with Fauci yesterday made him look like a political hack. Yeah.
The companies that fund the press.
Yeah. Well, what I kind of think is going on with the news, I was talking to my wife about this yesterday. Back in the 90s when Jerry Springer became big, there were about 20 talk shows like Jerry Springer on TV, and Geraldo was still doing his daytime show. And it was a fad at the time. And I think the current format of the mainstream cable news, I think is kind of a fad. Kind of a fad. Like soap operas used to be a big thing, and they're out now. There's like 2 left. There used to be 20 of them. The mainstream media, cable news, are going to cross a line, and because they're getting worse and worse all the time. They're going to cross a line, damage themselves. They'll never recover from it, and people will move on to something else. But I thought with the rise of the internet and social media that television news would have been irrelevant like the newspapers are, but it hasn't happened yet.
We don't stop them. We can let it happen by attrition, but who knows how much about it.
Well, what would help? What would help is to have some viable alternatives. You know, we've lost Fox News, but, you know, One American News needs some names. They need a Greta Van Susteren and Eric Bolling. They need to something like that needs to happen at One American News to have an alternative.
On more networks, you know, they're not.
Yeah. Well, people forget though, Bob, you know, Fox News Channel, which used to be the big thing, started in '94. They were on, Fox News did not become #1 until after the 2000 recount. Prior to the 2000 recount, as crazy as this sounds, MSNBC was #1. And the reason that there was that happening, the 2000 recount, it changed people's opinion about news and what they wanted to watch. And that's when Fox News became #1. Something will happen where the mainstream news do something that turns viewers off, like MSNBC and CNN did in the 2000 recount. And that's when Fox News became one.
What damages
Yeah.
America. One thing that always occurs to me, and I will let some.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be a news guy. And the fact that he sits there and says one American news is boring, that isn't what you're supposed to be. You know, one American is for real news and feedback for somebody who's in news.
Well, I don't think One American News, okay. Yeah, okay. One American, I'll give you an example. Back when Fox News first started becoming big, I'm not talking about the nighttime shows, the daytime. Back in the early 2000s, people would say it was right-wing conservative news. It wasn't back then. It seemed that way because people were so accustomed to left-wing media bias everywhere else that real news that Fox used to have seemed right-wing. One American News is not boring. It's what news is supposed to be. And people and people are not accustomed. I know a lot, well, Steve and others will say One American News is boring. One American News seems boring because it's what news is supposed to be, as opposed to cable news, they don't report anymore. There's a story, they'll give you a headline, and then they'll have a left-wing pundit and a right-wing pundit telling you what you're supposed to think about that story based on that political viewpoint. One American News is news, and that's why it seems that way.
You know, I just listen to lots of Fox or whatever. They will beat the same story to death.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about the same thing. He stubbed his toe. You'll hear that.
Well, now the big thing is testing. Testing. Yeah. That's right. That's right. Well, Bob, I got to run for a break, but thanks a lot. Bob Rice, thanks for calling. I'm a little late for the break. We'll take that break and be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Frank, the owner of Ace Hardware Deerfield and Beach Ace Hardware, wants you and your family to be protected during the coronavirus pandemic and has an incredible offer for listeners of The Steve Kane Show.
We get products continually coming in during the week. We get disinfectants, bleach, gloves, cleaning supplies. Everybody's looking for face masks. So the best thing that we came up with was a face covering. A lot of the cities are going to ask you to cover your face. So we've got a supply of bandanas. I'd love every one of your customers that come in a free bandana just for mentioning the Steve Kane Show. The bandanas are face covering, and the cities are going to require, as we start to go back to work and get out, that everybody's required to have their face covered. So you can use this bandana to cover your mouth and your nose and to protect you and protect all those around you. The other thing is, while you're at home, why don't you get that honeydew list done? It's that painting project or sprinkler supply, or maybe treat yourself to a new grill.
Wow, what a great deal. These bandanas are reusable because you can wash them. So stop into Ace Hardware in Deerfield, just south of Hillsborough Boulevard on the west side of US 1, and Beach Ace Hardware, located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, Lauderdale by the Sea, and get your free bandana from Ace Hardware. So you've been told you need a health test. What are you going to have to pay? Health tests can be very expensive. If you go to your doctor's office or one of the big labs, it can cost you hundreds of dollars. Sometimes I haven't had lab tests because of the cost. Then I discovered Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs' goal is to get you all the lab tests you need, save you money, and get you in and out in 15 minutes or less. At Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs, you never need an appointment, no doctor's order, or prescription needed either. You can walk right in and have any of their thousands of lab tests done for just a fraction fraction of the price the big labs or your doctor's office charge. Give them a call, 954-906-5983. 954-906-5983. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood near the Coral Square Mall. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Private and affordable lab testing. 954-906-5983.
You're stuck in your home and the dog days of summer are coming. It's already happening on the hot days in the late afternoon and early evenings. Your air conditioner is running more and more and may even run constantly, struggling to keep your home cool and hold the temperature that you have it set on. And in some homes it can't even keep up, losing the battle. And the temperature in your house climbs and you're hot, humid, and uncomfortable. And to top it all off, your electric bill is about to double or even triple. Here comes summer. The cure is reflective and or blown insulation. Stop the heat gain and cut your electric bill up to 35% off. Act now and get the pandemic special, our off-season sale. Act now. Save 50% on reflective and or blown insulation and cut your electric bill up to 35%. Call Scott from CutMyKilowatts.com at 954-939-1500. That's 954-939-1500. CutMyKilowatts.com. Put your house in the shade today.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
All right, welcome back. Now, the media, I'm thinking they're going to go on a meltdown over this one today. The left, they're not going to like this. They're not going to like this. Trump campaign manager Paul Manafort released to home confinement because of coronavirus, and they say that he is going to complete his sentence under house arrest at home, under confinement at home. Oh, man. That's great. That's spectacular. You know, this whole idea that you've got President Trump's campaign manager, you've got his lawyer, and it's ridiculous, isn't it? I know a lot of us don't like Michael Cohen anymore. I agree. Michael Cohen has turned out to be a snake, but Manafort coming home, that's great news. See, the thing about Paul Manafort, I talked about this way back then. Trump was set up with Paul Manafort. See, you know, part of this, we're getting a lot of information about what Obama did and what he ordered and everything. Part of the operation that they ran against Trump, the whole coup and everything else, involved Paul Manafort. Not that he was a part of it, but he was a pawn in it. And this is what I mean. They did several things in case he won. One was place Paul Manafort in Trump's circle. Another one was get Senator Sessions out there so he'd be an insider if he became president and become attorney general. It was a spy. But Manafort, if you remember how Manafort came along? We were getting close to the Republican convention. There was the Republican Never Trump establishment, and there was talk of a brokered convention. There has not been a brokered convention in modern history. I don't know if there's been one since Woodrow Wilson. There certainly has not been a brokered convention since television. Never. Right? Never. It's always been a done deal by the time they get there. And there was serious talk of a brokered convention. And what they were saying, all the television news was talking about it, they were all telling this to Trump, that delegates, when they go to the convention, can vote their conscience. They don't have to vote the way they've pledged to vote based on the primaries in their state. Remember all of that? And then all of a sudden, Paul Manafort's name came up. And since we were going into a broker convention, what they said was, well, Paul Manafort is the only person who knows how a broker convention operates. I don't know why they said that he's the only one, but they said he was. And they called him, remember this? They called him a delegate wrangler. Sometimes they called him a convention wrangler. And they said, no, since we've never had a broker convention in anyone's lifetime, Paul Manafort is the expert in broker conventions. He knows how to handle the delegates to make sure that they do the right thing and vote the way that they pledge to vote when they get to the convention. Trump has to hire Paul Manafort. And he did. And it was a setup. They knew all about his background. And it was part of this thing, whether it was Michael Cohen, Manafort, Roger Stone, General Flynn. They couldn't get anything on Trump, but they wanted enough people around Trump going to jail, being charged, being investigated, going to prison, so that they could say, look at all we haven't got anything on the president, but look at all the president's men that are doing these crimes. Guilt by association. So Paul Manafort, that shows you how deep and far back things went, I think by that point, the powers that be understood he was going to win Trump against Hillary. I think they knew at that point. So they bring Manafort in, putting his campaign. It was part of the whole plot against Trump. They went back that far prior to the convention. All right, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. That's our number. Toll free from anywhere. New studio, same number. 1-888-465-2631. Good morning. Good morning. You're on the air. Mike in Boca. Good morning, Mike in Boca. What's up?
Yeah, you were talking about the news earlier with that gentleman. I don't watch the news at all during the day unless I have to. I stopped watching it about a month ago. Like, they just keep beating the same stories over the head, and then they ask their opinions about it, this and that. I have AON for almost 2 months now. I watch that, and I'm good. If something important, if something important pops up, my phone will give me an update, and if it's worth watching, I'll put it on. If not, I won't put it on.
You know, news is not really meant to be watched all day binge watching. It's meant to be on like the old format of the network news, 30 minutes with commercials, without commercials, 22 minutes or something, and that's all you need.
If you watch 20 minutes of the AOI, you're pretty good for at least 4 to 5 hours. There's nothing's going to change. And if it does change, I get notified about it.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad, One American News, they've got these 2 White House reporters that they don't like to give chairs to, and they're really bullied by the White House press. One of the newspaper reporters was shaming the One American News White House correspondent the other day because she's in every briefing, and the press corps don't want her there, and she's in every. They have to rotate. But the White House keeps inviting her to the briefings personally, so she gets to go to every one. And, yeah.
The White House doesn't control that room.
Well, but they can invite people, and the One American News White House correspondent, her name is, Chanel or something, I can't remember her name. Something like that. She is a special invited guest of the White House. And the press corps, members of the press corps regularly tweet their disgust that she's there every day. They can't stand it because they cannot be, for the most part, there every day. Most of them are rotated in, and they're really afraid of One American News. And if you look at the way the mainstream media treat the One American News White House correspondent, you can tell they're worried about it. A lot of these small networks explode. Like E! Entertainment Television, which airs the Kardashians shows, and made them billionaires. I remember when E! Entertainment Network started, it was Probst from Survivor was on it. All they did was play movie trailers for years. Yeah, and there were some others. There was I remember the Weather Channel. When the Weather Channel was new, it was like practically a guy in his bedroom, and now it's a big deal. Yeah, and Fox News too. If you go back to Fox News in the first 5 or 6 years, Bill O'Reilly was there, and they had some of the people there, but it was dry and low rated, and it blew up. So, yeah.
I didn't actually watch. I was watching MSNBC like between 1990 and 2000, and then after 2000. We have to find Fox, and this is pretty good, and we just left it off.
Yeah, well, that's right. But now Fox has betrayed us. What One American News should do, what they simply should do is pretty easy. What they really should do is live stream 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And other platforms, but in particular YouTube, offer their content for free on YouTube. They'll make up the money and the ad revenue from YouTube, and people will flock to them by the millions, I think. I think they would explode if they did that. They do put some content on YouTube, but not live. YouTube TV carries Fox News. They should try to get on YouTube TV, which I think they could.
One more thing. Richard Grinnell.
Steve Kane, sure.
That guy he should be the head of intelligence permanently.
Richard Grinnell. Who I know? I can't remember who that is. Who was that?
That's the guy who's the head of intelligence who got these papers.
Oh, that's yes, that's leaked. Oh, with all the name, that declassified all the names. Oh man.
He needs to get some testosterone to Lindsey Graham. Because he was on TV again when I played with Sean, and he was as flat as a pancake.
Yeah, yeah.
He was, did you watch Janine on Sunday?
I did not see Judge Janine this weekend. No.
Well, it was pretty good. She had him on, and she, just like Maria Bartiromo, laid it into him. And he felt like a stiff duck.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's right. All right, hey Mike, appreciate the call, Mike. And oh, by the way, the Boca Mall's opening up today. You know, the Boca Town Center Mall is opening up today at 11. We're back. I know. All right, appreciate the call, Mike and Boca. You know, just a few minutes ago, I just heard the air conditioning click on here in the radio studio. Clicks on and off every once in a while. And every time, you hear that at home too, right? Every time that AC clicks on, the kilowatts, the kilowatt hours start moving. That's money you got to spend to Florida Power and Light. And Scott Messamore over at Cut My Kilowatts, he has a simple goal. Pretty easy. All he wants to do is save you money each and every month for the rest of the time you live in your home. And that's by stopping that air conditioning unit from clicking on so often. Scott from Cut My Kilowatts, good morning.
Oh, so it's like a red, so it probably gets about 120 degrees in your air.
It sure does. It does. Are you with us? Are you talking to a customer, Scott? Now, see, he's talking to a customer. His phone rang. I'm gonna have to put him on hold. His phone rang. See, that's how busy Scott is right now. That's why you got to call Scott, 954-939-1500. He's so busy. He's getting calls from customers right now. Listen, we'll take our quick break, and I'll wait for Scott to be done with his customer. And we also got to check in at Simply Natural. All right, let's take that break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire
Scott, are you there?
and Margate, where they have all the major brands like
gosh.
Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beaten. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70
Make sure you guys subscribe.
per tire.
Hey there, hold on.
These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great low price right over the phone at 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Veterans and spouses of veterans, you may be entitled to benefits that you are not aware of, including long-term care benefits. Call attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group and find out what benefits are available to you. With offices in Boca Raton and Fort Lauderdale, call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782. 1-855-FLA-3782. Listen to the Steve Kane.
All right. It's time to check in with Richard Pearl from Simply Natural in Sunrise. Richard Pearl, good morning. Hey, what is going on in the world of natural health today?
Just something I just want to bring up. So, homeless are okay.
Scott, you with us?
They're free. You stay at home.
Yeah, I went to you
you're
twice.
unfree.
You were on the phone.
Schools closed, but they have zero debt. Nursing homes get to stay open. They have the highest percentage debt. If you do your job that you chose and you're able, you're being paid for what you're supposed to do, you're a hero. Then what are you if you sit at home? I said yesterday we need a reassess.
Mm-hmm.
Who's walking contradict.
Oh, yeah.
People who have been exposed to
Yeah, no doubt about that. And, Simply Natural is open 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., 7 days a week. You can call them over there if you have any questions. 954-741-4045. 954-741-4045. And, of course, Simply Natural located in Sunrise, just north of Sunset Strip on the east side of University. And don't forget to catch Richard Pearl's radio show Saturday and Sundays at noon on the same radio stations the Steve Kane Show broadcast on. All right, Richard Pearl, we'll talk tomorrow. Okay, take care, take care. In the last, 5 minutes, the air conditioning has popped on twice here in the radio studio. And, Scott Messamore over at Cut My Kilowatts, that's what he wants to stop from happening in your home. He wants to stop your air conditioning from coming on every 5 minutes because you know what? It's not supposed to do that if it's operating properly. The problem is it can't operate properly if the heat inside your attic is 130, 140 degrees. So here's Scott from Cut My Kilowatts telling you how he's going to save you money each and every month forever off your electric bill. Hey, Scott.
I've been helping a lot of people, but some people just, they seem reluctant to spend the money right now because it's such uncertain times, and I get that. But your electric bill is not going to go away. So I have a finance program that most people can qualify for if they have a 650 or better credit score, and basically for like a $3,000 purchase or gets you pretty close. It starts at like $37 a month. Most people save $50 even in the winter on their bills.
Yeah.
To save money, I tell them not to do it. I get a lot of people that call in and I talk about their situation and I analyze it, and it just doesn't make sense for them to do it because they're doing well. They have a really light colored tile roof, their home's really well insulated, and their bills are really low. So I tell them, it's really, I wouldn't do it if it was me. If you just want to save more electricity, we can do it, but it's not going to be much savings. But the people that are going to save money, it's a shame for them to literally, they could be in a positive cash flow from day one. The program.
Wow. Yeah. And that savings on your electric bill is each and every month forever. So, that residual savings is what I like. Listen, give Scott that's right. Give Scott at Cut My Kilowatts a call. This number rings directly to his cell phone. It costs you nothing for the consultation. The only thing is you may save some money, which I think most people want to do. And in many cases, you'll save a lot of money. And over the course of 12 months of every year forever, it's going to be a pile of money, a big old pile. Scott's number, 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500. That's Scott at Cut My Kilowatts. All right, Scott, we will talk tomorrow. All right, take care, take care. Now, Yesterday, I was talking about the shooting in Georgia, which I consider to be a modern day lynching. And, I don't say that lightly. I'm not one of these race card kind of guys, no liberal, and I don't use lynching lightly. Okay, now I'm always open to new information. I'm telling you based on what I have seen so far, and I've seen all the video, including him walking around the construction site home and everything else. To me, it still looks like a lynching. Now, I got a call from someone yesterday that said Candace Owens was talking about this and implied that Candace Owens disagreed with me. Well, I pulled up Candace Owens' tweet, and I'm going to read it to you. And it's about the shooting. And this is a tweet that came out after the video of Arbery in the house that was under construction. In fact, Candace Owens has 4 pictures in her tweet of him in the under construction house. And this is what Candace Owens tweeted a day ago about this. Okay, she says, numerous videos appear to show Arbery on the same property on other occasions. And she has 4 screenshots here. And she says, watch the video. There's a YouTube video of it. And then Candace Owens goes on to say, no, he was not just a jogger, but also didn't deserve to die. So it sounds to me that Candace Owens agrees with me on this. So, and by the way, I heard from several people over the last few days as we've been talking about this, Candace Owens, Candace Owens, Candace Owens. And again, I respect Candace Owens. I listen to Candace Owens. She's, she's got a perspective, and I agree with her on most things. But it doesn't mean I'm always going to agree with her. But she may not be calling it a lynching, but she does. She says here, he did not deserve to die. And I said from day one, even if he did the burglaries, how does that justify the shootings, right? It doesn't. It doesn't. And, the most disturbing thing is actually the shooting with the 12 gauge. But after that, for them not to be arrested, charged, investigation brushed under the rug, and 6 weeks later because of the video, which is partially true, but because of the national attention. I was talking last week about this. Al Sharpton's a creep, but he's done one good thing in his life. He got George Zimmerman arrested and charged and tried. Now, unfortunately, the prosecutors blew it with Zimmerman by overcharging him and everything. But Sharpton got him arrested. How long after the shooting of Trayvon Martin? Was it a month? Was it 2 months? It was a long time. It's been a few years now. I can't remember how long it was, but it was a long time. And in these instances, if Trayvon Martin and Arbery in Georgia, if they were white victims and the shooters were black, believe me, it wouldn't take a month or 6 weeks to get these people arrested and charged. They'd be arrested on the spot. They would be arraigned the next day, and that would be the end of it. And what happens a lot of times with conservatives, because I know a lot of people will say, oh, this shows that conservatives are racist. I don't think so. I think what it shows is a lot of times one of the biggest issues, if not the biggest issue among conservatives, is the Second Amendment. When I was at the Trump rally in Sunrise in November, there were a whole bunch of speakers that came up before Trump. Every speaker, and including the president, brought up the Second Amendment. And when they did, the crowd went nuts. I mean, the crowd was louder than anything when the Second Amendment was mentioned. And a lot of good conservative people are so into the Second Amendment that when they see people like these animals in Georgia with the shotgun, they get into this Second Amendment heads. I saw this with Zimmerman when the Zimmerman thing happened. The reason so many conservatives jumped on board Zimmerman is because he was a concealed weapon permit holder, and a lot of conservatives thought a Zimmerman arrest, trial, and conviction would lead to restrictions on concealed carry laws. Same thing with these guys. The Second Amendment people see this, and they get wrapped up in they think it'll be a threat. A lot of this is at the subconscious level, but they'll think it'll be a threat to... Now, these racist lynchers in Georgia had a 12-gauge shotgun. There is not one bit of gun control legislation that involves 12-gauge shotguns. Shotguns are always excluded. Well, sometimes people will talk about having to be 21, but it's always assault weapons, handguns, never shotguns. So, you know, this gun has nothing to do with anything involving the gun control debate. I will say there is I've gotten a lot of negative feedback from conservatives talking about this Georgia case. I'm going to continue to follow and talk about it. I'm not going to not talk about it because some people in the audience are uncomfortable. God forbid someone gets uncomfortable. This is a racial issue from beginning to this point right now. It's a racial issue. The shooting of him was racial. When I first saw it, I found that when I first saw that video last week, it was some of the most disturbing video I've ever seen. Okay? And the way I described it last week was this. And again, I'm open to any if some new information comes out and shows that it was justified, I have no problem. I don't take a position just because I took a position. If something new comes out, I'm very well open to it. But this is what I said last week, and I stick by it today. Watching those good old boys in a pickup truck chase a black man down a road in Georgia, it looked like it was a modern-day fugitive slave patrol, the way they handled it. And they were so casual about it. And then they're not charged for 6 weeks until there's national... If there had not been national attention, these guys would still... And I'll tell you, there's a chance they'll go free. You can tell by the tone. That's why they're talking to the Justice Department about civil rights violation, hate crime, federal hate crimes, because they're afraid they're not going to be able to get a conviction in Georgia. So what does that say about Georgia? Or at least that part of Georgia. Doesn't say a lot of good, does it? And I find it so disturbing that not every conservative in the country is, these guys are killers, murderers. Yeah, and let me ask you out there. I've not done this as an adult, but I've done it as a teenager, construction like that when I was a kid. One of my favorite YouTubers, I think my favorite YouTuber, Adam the Woo, is, a lot of you don't know who Adam the Woo is. He's one of the top YouTubers out there. He has made an entire YouTube career, which is pretty sizable, going to under construction abandoned areas. Okay, he's even been charged with trespassing. He went to, he goes to abandoned amusement parks. He went to the Burt Reynolds Ranch without permission. He went to Heritage USA, the theme park, after all these places around America. That's, even if he was doing the burglaries, it wouldn't justify what happened. So, no, I'm sorry, people. That's the way it is. All right, let's take our last break of the day. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll be back with the Gold Report right after this.
Best night's sleep in the whole wide world is My Pillow.
Steve Kane Show.
You've heard the jingle and seen the commercials, and that's right. You will get the best night's sleep you've ever had with a My Pillow. Have you not gotten your My Pillow yet? Right now is the best time to do it.
That's right, Brian. Hey guys, this is Brian's wife, Kathy, and this is the best time to get a My Pillow. They have amazing deals. Take advantage of them now.
Go to MyPillow.com, click the radio listener link, and you will see all these great deals. Like the buy one My Pillow, get one for free. There's a BOGO offer right now on the Giza Dream Sheets. Buy one set of My Pillow Giza Dream Sheets and get the second set free.
You gotta love BOGO deals. They're the best. And you can take advantage of so many right now at MyPillow.com.
There's a lot of other deals too. Again, go to MyPillow.com, click on that radio listener link, and you've got to use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout to get these incredible deals. So go right now to MyPillow.com, click the radio listener special. Make sure to use that promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout to take advantage of all of the great deals. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. Make sure to use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, 1-800-716-4879.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, welcome back, one and all. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show. Time for the Gold Report with William Youngerman. William Youngerman, good morning.
Good morning.
Oh man, you know, I'm telling you, with Father's Day is coming up, and don't forget, William Youngman has an incredible selection of watches that any dad would love for Father's Day. How are the medals looking today, William?
Good. We had a nice day yesterday as gold moved ahead of $1,700 number again, which we've been back and forth over. That's closing out yesterday at $4.50 at $1,701.70 the ounce. Silver remaining strongly above the $15 number at $15.43 on the close yesterday, which was down only 5 cents. Platinum was down $6, closing out today at $7.59, while palladium was down $29 at $17.76. This morning we've got gold up nicely higher, up $11.30 at $1,713 the ounce. We're up 17 cents at $15.60 the ounce. Platinum up $7.
Steve Kane Show.
$166 and palladium down $11 at
Hold on. What's that?
So the market's doing well. The gold acting very well actually. Looks like it's going to be building a base possibly above that $1,700
Yeah.
number now, as opposed to jockeying.
Friendly Tire.
1675 and 1720. This new
Margate.
could push us towards the $1,800 number. We're looking at down soon. The dollar is much weaker today, which is also giving strength to gold. That's pretty much what we got so far.
Yeah, that's all great information. And again, don't forget, Dad would love, I'm telling you, there's not a dad in this country that would not love a watch. And a great selection of watches to choose from for Father's Day at William Youngman. Give him a call, 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. The address is 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, which is on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road, and their website, williamyoungerman.com. All right, William, we'll talk tomorrow. All right, take care. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. Somebody just called me during the break for Friendly Tire's number, and I am going to give it to them right now. He said he needs new tires. Well, it's Friendly Tire, 954-977-9445. That's the number for Friendly Tire, listed at stevekaneshow.com. Yeah, so a lot of times, you know, we criticize liberals for getting knee-jerk with a lot of opinions on this issue or that issue. Conservatives do too, and the shooting in Georgia is one of those issues. And there were just some things that are clearly wrong, people, and that, without question, is one of them. All right, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631, our final moments of the Wednesday edition of the program. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Mike. Hey, Mike. Yeah, Mike.
Yeah, I'm not going to go, say that this isn't a tragedy, and what these guys did was completely wrong. But to prove murder in the first or second degree is going to be implausible. So they didn't wait.
Well, I don't know about that. George Zimmerman got not guilty because they went for first-degree murder. These guys were driving around in a pickup truck with a shotgun, and they had a buddy driving around too, because he was ready with the video camera. I wouldn't be so sure that premeditation wouldn't be possible in this one. But you called me the other day and you claimed that he had a hammer in his hand. I haven't seen that reported or seen anywhere that Arbery had a hammer.
Stop that right now. We have the video of him walking down.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if he was jogging, running, but it doesn't matter if he was jogging, running, or standing. What does it matter? Arbery never said he was jogging. Why did Arbery never claim he was jogging? Do you know why? Why did he never claim he was jogging? Do you know why? That's right, they killed him. So he can't, so he never said he was jogging, running, walking, standing. All we know is he was fighting for his life, and his life was taken from him by two good old boys.
He came running out of that house.
Running? I'm watching him kind of walk. Looked like he was walking, but it doesn't matter. It was an abandoned house under construction. Even if it wasn't, even if it wasn't, stand your ground only works when you're in danger. So even if he robbed the house that had residents living in it, at the time they came up to him, he was no threat.
You can do one of two things. He could stop and say, guys, what the hell is going on here? I'm just...
Really? Really? So two guys pull up next to you in a pickup truck with a 12 gauge, and you're just going to be calm. Hey, what? Hey, guys, what's going on? Come on, you'd be running for your life too.
Middle of the day, going in a neighborhood that I didn't live at. I'm not sure I would just all of a sudden just start sprinting down the road. Say, hey, what's going on here? No.
Yeah, sure. So if you happen to be driving through, okay, you're in Fort Lauderdale. Okay, what part of where in Fort Lauderdale are you right now? Okay, Commercial Boulevard. If you went over to, say, Sistrunk Boulevard, just driving through there, and you stopped off at a gas station over there. By the way, Sistrunk is a black neighborhood in Fort Lauderdale, and you stopped off at a gas station, and a couple of black guys with a gun pulled up and started asking you questions. You think you'd feel safe and calm, like everything's gonna be okay, and just be cool, or would you be panicked?
Yeah, I would be panicked.
Of course. So this is what happened with this guy. Arbery's walking down the street, and two rednecks come up with a shotgun and a pickup truck, and he was scared.
They shot him while they were in the truck?
Well, one of them was out of the truck, and I think one was still in. The son shot him.
They shot him as he approached him, or?
Oh my gosh, enough. I can't handle the contrived ignorance of that guy. I mean, he's just pretending now. He's just making things up, like with the hammer. He made that up too. All right, well, listen, we're all out of time. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow at 6 a.m.
We're chatting today with Frank, the owner of two magnificent Ace Hardware stores. One, Deerfield Beach, 365 South Federal Highway.
Oh, hey, Rob.
1 mile south of Hillsborough on the west side of Federal Highway. And the other, each Ace
You've been away.
Hardware located at 232 Commercial.
We were talking about that
West.
Chinese-American reporter that's upset that Trump referenced that she might be Chinese, that was born in China yesterday. All right, guys, I will see you all later. I got to take... Steve and I actually have a meeting to go to this morning. But I'll see you guys later, all right? Take care.
Let me give you an example.